4 rainy days had passed. These past few nights were rather quiet. The Earth Dragoons really hadn't appeared. However, since they did not appear, Feng Jiao felt that her days were boring. Thus, on the 5th day, the weather just so happened to be very good. The sun was bright and it was a perfect day for a trip. Early in the morning, Feng Jiao had already put on a purple beautiful dress with golden butterfly patterns on it. The dress was newly made and it was gorgeous. Feng Jiao said that she looked good in it. Feng Jiao thought it was beautiful too and wore it. "Princess, where are we going?" In the carriage, Ziyun asked with a smile on her face. "Naturally, I'm going to inspect the business of First Supratorrent of Xianyang. Is it as business as I imagined?" Feng Jiao casually replied. However, Feng Jiao still felt a bit of unease in her heart, especially since the Imperial Guards were chaptering house by house. "Ziyun, have you investigated clearly? Who are these Imperial Guards looking for?" Feng Jiao asked. "It is said that the Crown Prince is looking for a beautiful young man called Ruiyu. It is said that she is incredibly beautiful." Ziyun asked what happened just now. Beautiful youth? The Crown Prince was looking for him? Could it be the red-clothed youth that Uncle Xian saved last time? Could it be that the youth in white was really the Crown Prince's catamite? "Princess, what's wrong?" Ziyun looked at the dumbstruck Feng Jiao and waved her hand in front of her eyes. "Stop swaying so much that I want to doze off." Feng Jiao yawned lazily. "Yes." "Oh." Ziyun thus kept quiet. "That's right, why don't we go to the residence bestowed upon me by the Emperor?" Feng Jiao had actually wanted to go to the store to see the chapter-can soup business, but she suddenly didn't want to meet Xinyuan Haoyu, so she chapter-arranged her mind. Since the weather was good today, she might as well go and take a look. "Princess, there are too many people and the carriage is not easy to pass. Can you take a detour to the back street of the market?" The Xiu chapterman, Wan Sanzi, who was driving the carriage, asked. The carriage moved slowly. He asked Feng Jiao to chapter-arrange the route. "All right, go around it." Feng Jiao nodded. She was also not willing to get too close to the crowd. Furthermore, the distance from here to the manor was not too far. Furthermore, the Imperial Guards were looking for her, so she was too lazy to cause any trouble. The carriage turned into another street with very few pedestrians. The noise of the market gradually died down, and only the footsteps of a few pedestrians could be heard. Only then did Feng Jiao gently lift up the curtains and look outside to see a masked old man sitting on the stone steps at the side of the street. It was so hot that he was almost hit by the heat. He didn't even have the strength to shout out. She felt pity in her heart and felt sympathy for him as she said, "Go and buy that old man's mask. It's so hot, you'll have to pity him." After saying that, Feng Jiao felt that when she was in the ancient realm, she was no longer the cold and emotionless Meishi, so she lightly shook her head and sighed. Ziyun acknowledged, then called the carriage and jumped down, walking towards the old man. Feng Jiao lowered the curtain and said, "Drive the carriage to the side of the road and wait. Don't block the way." Wan Sanzi immediately drove the horse carriage to the alleyway's entrance, and just as he was about to drive to the alleyway's entrance, he exclaimed, "Who is it?" With a few sounds of weapons clashing, the carriage's curtain was opened with a huff, and before Feng Jiao could react, a bright, short blade was placed on her slender neck. "Take a ride to the northern suburbs, or I'll kill her." The man threatened Wan Sanzi fiercely. "Brother ran by?" Feng Jiao's body trembled, and she shouted out involuntarily in shock. "Didn't he go to the Xiliang kingdom with Su Mayan?" The person turned his head in disbelief, staring at her blankly. His face was filled with shock that could not be hidden, and even the blade in his hand had fallen. Just as he was in a daze, Wan Sanzi suddenly threw out the short blade he was holding with his backhand, and the two immediately started fighting in the narrow carriage. "Stop!" Feng Jiao growled. The two of them stopped at the same time. Feng Jiao frowned and was about to say something when she heard Ziyun's little voice sound out. "Princess, we have bought all of them." She gave Wan Sanzi a meaningful glance and said in a low voice, "Take her away." Wan Sanzi nodded his head, then immediately retreated. Feng Jiao picked up the dagger and gave it to Mo ran by. She then said calmly, "Hide in the carriage." Outside the carriage, Wan Sanzi smiled at Ziyun. "Ziyun, The princess said that she wants to eat Zhang Xingji's plum blossom sugar. You go and buy 2 bags first, I will drive Miss back home first. Ziyun did not hesitate to follow the order, handing the wrapped-up noodle to Wan Sanzi, then he turned and left. Brother Ranbai, you're injured? Feng Jiao frowned when she saw Mo Ranbai's arm that seemed to have been shot by an arrow of some sort, dripping with blood. Yes. Mo Ranbai nodded, his face did not have any expression, and just remained calm. Wan Sanzi, I can't go to the other villa today. Find an inn nearby and settle down. Feng Jiao instructed Wan Sanzi. After Wan Sanzi received the order, he immediately drove the horse carriage towards the other direction. Brother Ranbai, the person the Imperial Guards were seer-chaptering for just now was. Is that you? Feng Jiao asked. She still felt that the possibility of this happening was high. As for seer-chaptering for Catamites, it was probably an excuse. Mo Ranbai did not reply. Instead, he picked up the teacup that Feng Jiao had drunk before and gulped down a few cups of tea. Feng Jiao secretly laughed. He was not courteous at all. So you agree? Feng Jiao laughed. As expected, this beautiful man had a story, and as for the beautiful man who had a story, she was even more interested. Thank you for today's matter. Mo Ranbai said indifferently. Her voice did not have any undulations, and her tone seemed to carry a faint sense of alienation. Brother Ranbai, I will help you chapter-arrange your appearance first. Otherwise, if those people seer-chapter the inn and find you, you will be in trouble. Feng Jiao frowned and said, even though this beautiful guy was indifferent, when Beitang Ziqian wanted to use the black jade fan to bully her, it was still with the help of the beautiful guy in front of her. No matter what, she would definitely help him get through this time. As for why he would become the target of a large number of the Imperial Guard seer chapters, that was not what Feng Jiao wanted to investigate, because she believed that everyone had their own secrets. Yes, he said lightly. Just as the two of them were talking, they suddenly heard Wan Sanzi's surprised shout and the carriage suddenly stopped. Feng Jiao was caught off guard and almost knocked into the wall. Luckily Mo Ranbai pulled her back in time. Sir, what are you doing? Why are you stopping my carriage? Wan Sanzi asked loudly on purpose. Feng Jiao looked through the gaps of the carriage and saw a group of Imperial Guards wearing bright and colorful clothes standing in front of the carriage. Before Wan Sanzi could even finish speaking, they had already surrounded the carriage. Mo Ranbai took out his short blade and was about to fight to the death with it, but he was stopped by Feng Jiao. At this moment, the people surrounding the carriage opened up a path for them. A commander of the Imperial Guards was riding his horse forward. Wan Sanzi bellowed, Master, this is Princess Lianyan's carriage. What are you all doing? He did not come with good intentions. There was still a person on the princess carriage of unknown origin. If there was any situation, he could only bring the princess out with him. The commander ignored him and looked at the carriage with the curtain tightly shut, and said coldly, So what if you're a princess? Seer chapter the train for me. Immediately, several Imperial Guards dismounted their horses and approach-chaptered the carriage. Stop, this carriage is my Princess Lianyan, and it is also the legitimate daughter. How can we let him casually seer-chapter us? Wan Sanzi anxiously blocked in front of the curtain. Bastard, we are here to capture a spy from the enemy countries. We clearly saw him running into this alley, yet your carriage was stopped here. Could it be that the spy was here to support him? The commander asked angrily. Wan Sanzi, let him investigate. Feng Jiao's beautiful voice sounded out. The curtain of the carriage was lifted, and Feng Jiao walked out. The dazzling sunlight shone down on her body, as if it was plated with a gold light. The gentleness was filled with holiness, like the rainbow in the sky. It was extremely beautiful. I am a Princess Lianyan under the title of Emperor. How can I have anything to do with the enemy nation's spy? All of you can go in seer chapter. But don't mess up my things. After Feng Jiao finished speaking, she jumped down from the carriage. 2 Imperial Guards climbed onto the carriage and parted the curtains. The interior of the carriage was rather simple, and it was obvious at a glance that there was only a single soft chapter air and a small cabinet that could not be used to hide people. The 2 looked around, got out of the carriage, and went in front of the commander to report, Sir, there's no one inside. The commander was startled, then laughed. A misunderstanding, disturbed Princess Lianyan, please forgive me. He naturally heard that the emperor had adopted a foster daughter a few days ago, but he didn't expect that the person in front of him was actually this person. Feng Jiao chapteruckled, of course, you guys are also responsible. How could I blame you? The commander saw that she was tolerant, her bearing was natural, and he praised her in his heart. This girl was indeed not an ordinary person. No wonder she was able to make the emperor personally bestow the title of Princess Lianyan upon her, allowing her to join the imperial jade butterfly. With his order, a group of people quickly retreated, as expected of the well-trained Nanshao's imperial guards. When they left, Wan Sanzi broke out in a cold sweat because of what happened just now. Princess, luckily you're smart, otherwise, you'd be in big trouble today. Otherwise, how would the old master explain himself? Wanzi, I didn't expect you to know some martial arts. I really can't see through you. Hee, you did very well just now. Seeing that the danger was resolved, Feng Jiao laughed and ridiculed. He only knows the basics. Wan Sanzi blushed from embarrassment. He was honest and loyal, maybe he was not used to being praised by others. To be modest is a good thing. Quickly find an inn and settle him down. Feng Jiao instructed with a smile. All right. Wan Sanzi nodded, then asked, where's the young master? Over there. Feng Jiao pointed to the bottom of the carriage. Brother Ranbai, come out. She called out tenderly. Then, a wooden board fell from the bottom of the carriage, followed by a person. It was Mo Ranbai. When Mo Ranbai once again entered the carriage, Feng Jiao did not say a word and quietly sized him up. Why are you looking at me like that? When had Mo Ranbai ever been looked down upon by a young lady for so long? Therefore, at that time, his handsome face was blushing red as he asked. I was thinking, why is the blood on your arms suddenly stopped bleeding? And you didn't use any gold sore medicine just now. This was what made Feng Jiao very curious. If you seal off the acupoints there, the natural blood will solidify. Mo Ranbai lightly sighed and said, I'll help you bandage it. In the end, Feng Jiao's heart chaptered for the beautiful man who was injured. She immediately tore a corner of her skirt and wrapped it around him, forming a beautiful bow. This bow tie made Mo Ranbai's handsome face turn black. Stop looking, isn't this really pretty? I'm really different from others when I wear the butterfly knot. Feng Jiao smiled at him. Then, Feng Jiao picked up the tea leaves from the teacup and rubbed it with her palm. She rubbed the juice and carefully rubbed it on Mo Ranbai's handsome face, and very quickly, the miraculous moment that had happened made Mo Ranbai's face look more ordinary. Even if we were to walk in front of that commander, he might not be able to recognize a face. Feng Jiao was satisfied with her disguise technique and smiled. In the entire process, other than Mo Ranbai, who was not used to her small hands chaptering him, he occasionally furrowed his brows and was basically very cooperative. Feng Jiao purposely let Wan Sanzi find a small inn. It was not under the three families, so it was natural that the room would be chaptereep. After getting a room on the second floor, Feng Jiao let Wan Sanzi go back first. She told him that she would return to the Prime Minister's mansion later. Brother Ranbai, there's only you and me here. Can you tell me why you didn't go with Su Mayan to Western Lion City? She did not want to know about the Imperial Guard's chaptering for him throughout the Xianyang city, but she still asked about this matter out of curiosity. I want something that belongs to me, Mo Ranbai said as he wiped his face with the wet handkerchief chapterif. That is why you were able to return to the Nanshao. That is to say, even Su Mayan does not know about this? Feng Jiao guessed boldly. Yes. He replied lightly. Brother Ranbai, Mo Ranbai wanted to drink his tea, but when he heard the footsteps outside the door, he immediately chaptered out and covered Feng Jiao's fragrant chapterary lips. Feng Jiao's lips were suddenly covered by Mo Ranbai's slender and white hand, and she could feel the warmth from his palm. Wapter was just in chapters away, so close that she could smell the faint scent of lavender on his body. In an instant, 2 red clouds swiftly flew onto her small, white and smooth face. Ugh, I'm sorry. Mo Ranbai felt that he went overboard and immediately retracted his hand and apologized with a red and handsome face. So it was just a false alarm, it was the waiter who brought them the bath water. Seeing him apologize, Feng Jiao immediately laughed unnaturally. Brother Ranbai, there's no need to apologize, it's not like we're really fine. Wasn't it just his palm covering her small mouth? Was there even a need for him to apologize? But this also showed that Brother Ranbai was very pure. She had a very good impression of Su Chapter, a cute and pure beautiful man. Oh yeah, the temperature of the bath water is about the same. Hurry up and bathe. I'll go out first. Although Feng Jiao really wanted to see a pretty boy come out of the bathroom, she didn't want to scare Mo Ranbai. Thus, she left Mo Ranbai's room feeling extremely unwilling. After waiting on the corridor for around an hour, Mo Ranbai finally opened the door. Jiao, I'm done bathing. Come in. Mo Ranbai was dressed in a loose white crepe robe with ink-flowing clouds pattern, and a few pink chapterary blossoms were sewn out from the sleeves. They were luxurious and elegant with a refreshing sweetness after the rain, just like his temperament. His lips hung a faint smile, his elegant figure was dazzling, shaking Feng Jiao's small heart so chapter that her heart was thumping hard. Brother Ranbai, you still look good in white. Feng Jiao laughed. Yeah, I think so too. Hearing that, Mo Ranbai was startled. He squinted his eyes, but his face still had a faint expression. Brother Ranbai, I will help you chapter-arrange your appearance. This way, if the Imperial Guards come Seer Chapter again, you won't have to hide anymore. Feng Jiao thought that she couldn't possibly accompany him 24 hours a day, right? All right, sorry for the trouble. Mo Ranbai said indifferently. Therefore, Feng Jiao walked towards him and still used the wet tea leaves to rub on his face. Previously, when they were in the car, the atmosphere was tense, but now that he had relaxed, his eyes could just happen to see the beautiful scenery on Feng Jiao's chaptrist. Hey, Brother Ranbai, can you cooperate with me a little? Don't keep moving around? If I chapter-arrange your appearance to an ugly one later, you're not allowed to criticize me. Feng Jiao was annoyed. Previously, this man was very cooperative, but now he was like a chapter-illed suffering from ADHD. How could he not cooperate with her obediently? This was the first time Mo Ranbai was incoherent. Don't say anything about me. Be obedient and don't move. Feng Jiao's slender and jade-like fingers painted on his fair and handsome face, drawing line after line, extremely detailed and detailed. Due to her slender fingers chaptering him, it brought about a soft and refreshing feeling. Shockingly, with his rationality, he pushed her away. Feng Jiao was so angry that she did not flirt with him. Why was he using so much chapter strength to push her away? After pushing her away, Mo Ranbai immediately regretted it and immediately helped her up. Jiao, right? I'm sorry. This was the first time in his life that he was apologizing to a girl. My little pee-pee fell so chapter it hurt. Mo Ranbai, I saved you so chapter but you almost broke me into a bone. What if I fall and become a cripple? Humph. Feng Jiao rubbed her hurting butt. She was so angry that blood almost splashed onto her butt. He shouldn't be crippled from the fall, right? He did not feel that he had used chapter strength. If you fall and become crippled, I will support you for the rest of your life. Mo Ranbai's face was gloomy as he promised. Humph, it's true that it isn't damaged from the fall, but you can take care of it yourself after this. I'm done with it. Feng Jiao was also a temperamental chapter-illed, but this, she saw his expression, was extremely unwilling, and immediately decided to leave him alone, and prepared to leave. Jiao, I was wrong, I won't push you to the ground in the future. Mo Ranbai felt guilty, thinking that his mistake was outrageous. Thinking that a man could do something or not, he stood up, straightened his back, and blocked her path. Damn and beyond? What you want is beautiful. If I say no, then no. When Feng Jiao thought about the pain coming from her butt, she almost wanted to kill him. It was not on account of him being a handsome man, she really wanted to give him a push as well. Jiao, is that place where your butt hurts? Can I give you medicine? Mo Ranbai was conflicted. He apologized to her mostly in his heart, so he carefully asked her. You don't need to apply the medicine. Let go. Feng Zhiyao roared at him. All right then, before you leave, help me chapter arrange my appearance first. Mo Ranbai himself did not know how to disguise, so he replied her. I was in a good mood before, but now I'm in a bad mood. How about this? If you can make me feel good, then I'll consider it. Feng Jiao swung her hand, sat on the chapter supported her chapterique with one hand, and looked coldly at him. This. Mo Ranbai was in a difficult situation. What is this? Say something that makes me happy or I'll go. Feng Jiao, this little girl, was deliberately making things difficult for him. No. You can go. Mo Ranbai shook his head and gave up. Sai, you're too honest. All right, I'll just help you. Feng Jiao shook her head. Forget it, forget it. After he finished chapter arranging his appearance. Jiao, the last time you planted a sex drug, was it on purpose? Mo Ranbai suddenly asked. These words caught Feng Jiao off guard and made her face turn red. What? How could that be? Feng Jiao did not expect him to grab hold of this weak point, and immediately refused to admit it. Is that so? Mo Ranbai did not believe it. When he first saw her, her eyes revealed a burning look, and he still felt goosebumps whenever he thought about it. Of course, you and I have only just met. Why would I give you that sex drug? Naturally, I did it for Su Mayan. Feng Jiao smiled slightly. She was shocked in her heart. How did this man know everything? You like Su Mayan? Mo Ranbai did not know why he suddenly asked this question. I should like it. Feng Jiao admitted it and nodded. She missed Su Mayan a little, and did not know when he would return. Why are you so concerned about whether I like Su Mayan or not? Could it be that you fell in love with me at first sight, Brother Ranbai? Feng Jiao laughed and teased. No, that's not it. Mo Ranbai shook his head. Love at first sight? On the other hand, she was already Su Mayan's woman. How could he get involved with her? Seeing him deny it, Feng Jiao felt a little disappointed in her heart. Originally, beautiful men were not interested in her, but she had a good impression of this fresh and intoxicating beautiful man, and wanted to push him down, but this man was too smart. If she drugged him, it would only be a loss. Forget it, forget it. It was her. After all, it was hers, not hers. A forcefully twisted melon was not sweet. It's getting late, I should go back. Feng Jiao looked at the sky outside the window and said, it was time to leave. The beautiful man did not have her in his heart, and she did not want to stay any longer, so she was tired of it. Oh right, just now you called yourself, this palace, in front of the commanders of the Imperial Guards. What does that mean? Could it be that you are the Princess Lian Yen who was recently bestowed the title of Emperor of the Nanshao? He asked doubtfully. Ah, this is the longest sentence you've said since I've met you. Yes, I am Princess Lian Yen. Feng Jiao laughed. Not Mu chapter. Mo Ranbai shook his head. I think it's good, so be it. If we really have to go back, then I'll take my leave. Feng Jiao thought that she should return quickly. Otherwise, if she returned too late, Father Feng would definitely talk about her. All right, then I'll send you back. Mo Ranbai thought that he had disguised himself, and would not be recognized by the Imperial Guards, and suggested. No need, I can do it myself. Feng Jiao shook her head. She had finally managed to save him. Why would she put him in danger? All right, be careful along the way. Mo Ranbai chaptered her back as she walked further and further away. It was already dark and windy after dinner. The stars were all over the sky and the fragrance of the lotus was pleasant. The lakeside is lush with wild grass, narcissus, water kite and calamus, rustling against the wind. A few waterfowl, white cranes play in it. The night wind blew gently, bringing with it a faint chapterill. It was almost the end of October, and in a few days, Su Mayan should be back in the Nanshao. Feng Sais invited Feng Jiao to view the moon recite a poem together. Feng Jiao originally did not want to go, but after thinking that Zi Yun, the little girl by her side, might have something to play with, she brought along the unwilling Zi Yun, and headed in the direction of the Jusong Hall. Yao, you're here? This bad girl is here too? Feng Sais gritted his teeth as if he wanted to tell Zi Yun something. Why does Brother Sais look at Zi Yun like that? Could it be that you, Feng Jiao deliberately wanted to say something, but stopped herself. Yao? What are you talking about? Feng Sais raised his eyebrows, turned his head, and leisurely sat down. No one knew whether he was sulking or just what-chaptering the moon. Brother Sais. Why did you ask me out to admire the moon when I recited a poem? Why did I feel that the moon tonight is not round at all? Feng Jiao laughed and teased. I got something rare for you to see. Feng Sais thought that he was just angry at Zi Yun, so he did not want to go against Yao. Just what is it? Feng Jiao asked curiously. Feng Sais then took out a red wooden chaptrist from her room. What treasure? It looks very mysterious. Seeing how mysterious he looked, Feng Jiao laughed and teased him. When she opened the mahogany box, Feng Jiao was immediately overjoyed when she saw it. This was a Western bell. Brother Sais, where did you get this from? Seeing this, Feng Jiao felt that her hope of returning to the modern era was very high. Hence, she anxiously pulled on Feng Sais's sleeves and asked. This was the first time Ziyun saw her young miss being so excited. Jiao, do you know what this is? Feng Sais frowned and asked while staring at her. I read about it in a very ancient book. This item is called a bell. It has an hour hand and a minute hand. It is a type of precise timing tool. It's just that Yaoer doesn't know where you got this strange item from. How did you get it? Feng Jiao was very curious as to how Feng Sais obtained it, so he asked him. Half a month ago, on my way back, it was by the sea, I met a man with blonde hair. His eyes were dark blue, his hair was thicker, his bones were not protruding, his jaw was flat, and his nose was narrow and tall. Maybe he came from overseas and said something that I didn't understand. I gave him some silver and he gave me this weird thing. As Feng Sais spoke, he immersed himself into his own memories. Hearing Feng Sais's description, Feng Jiao felt that the golden-haired man he met was definitely a citizen of another country. Was there a country like England in this world? Yao, where is that ancient book of yours? Feng Sais seemed to have thought of something and asked. Ancient book? I've long lost it. Feng Jiao stuck out her tongue at him cutely. Ziyun, don't just stand there. Sit. Feng Jiao instructed Ziyun and pointed to the stone chapter beside her. Princess, your humble servant status is low, you can't do that. Although Ziyun was moved by her concern, she still rejected him. All right, you can sit down when you're tired of standing. Feng Jiao said with a slight smile, as she fiddled with the ancient Western bell with one hand. Ziyun, since the princess has ordered you to sit down, you should sit down. After Feng Sais finished speaking, he made a big tiger-like grimace toward Ziyun, showing his teeth in a cute manner, making both Feng Jiao and Ziyun laugh. Feng Jiao thought that there was hope for the two of them, but Ziyun's identity was not simple. She was afraid that when the two of them were together, there would be someone who would cause trouble. Furthermore, with Ziyun's background, maybe she would only be able to be Feng Sais's concubine, as it was truly a grievance to Ziyun. After hearing what Feng Sais said, Ziyun's little face immediately turned slightly red. Under Feng Jiao's persuasion, she sat down, but she did not dare raise her face, as she was afraid of seeing Feng Sais's handsome face that looked like he deserved a beating. Yaoer, your father doesn't seem to be too happy about you being conferred the title of princess. What are your thoughts? Feng Sais asked in a brotherly tone. Father will understand. This is also a way for me to protect myself. Feng Jiao had not forgotten about her disguise of being infected by an illness. With the Alchapterami book iron securities in her hands, she was afraid of nothing. Becoming the emperor's goddaughter, at least she could avoid Xianyuan Haoyu and Xianyuan Haohan. Needless to say, this was also a good thing. Brother Sais, let me tell you, I saw Murong Chapterong yesterday afternoon near the Ningji Lake of the Imperial Palace. According to the Crown Prince, Murong Chapterong and you are from the same sect, is that true? Feng Jiao asked. Murong Chapterong is indeed a fellow disciple of mine, but his origin is very mysterious. He's my junior brother, and he hasn't even started training, and his light skill is the best. Moreover, his poison arts are invincible in the world. If you see him again, remember to hide away. That guy has a white snake on his body. If you get bitten by that white snake, you'll suffer. Feng Sai's handsome face immediately chapter-arranged when he heard Feng Jiao mention his junior brother Murong Chapterong, and he shouted anxiously with fear in his eyes. Brother Sais, is Murong Chapterong really that scary? Feng Jiao was really worried after he said this. Anyway, you have to be careful and not to provoke him. Moreover, his identity is a mystery, so up until now, I'm afraid only his deceased master knows of his origins. Feng Sais frowned. Brother Sais, Ziyun and I both feel that your light skill is already the best and fastest light skill, but there is still a faster one. Feng Jiao held her forehead and sighed. It seemed that she had to properly learn martial arts. That's right, Murong Chapterong is 17 years old, and there's no one who can match chapter him in the light skill now. It really makes me ashamed. Feng Sais sighed. What? Murong Chapterong is only 1 year older than me? Feng Jiao thought of the Murong Chapterong she had met yesterday, and her heart was filled with doubts. Even my late master said that he was a prodigy who cultivated martial arts. However, I can't guess, why did he appear in the Nanshao Palace after going to the western regions? Could it be that the sky is going to chapter range? Feng Sais held his head with one hand and the cup of tea in his other hand as he exclaimed. Western regions? Are you saying that Murong Chapterong is from the western regions? Feng Jiao was very curious. It was said that the western regions had the most poisons in the place. She was an expert in making poisons, so she was naturally very curious about that mysterious place. I can't be sure. Weird, Yao, why are you so interested in Murong Chapterong? Don't tell me you're interested in him? Want to marry him? Feng Sais asked curiously, why would he think that way? This was the first time that Feng Jiao had asked him about the strange man in Su chapter a detailed manner. It's not that. Brother Sais, don't speak nonsense. That's right, Murong Chapterong was indeed a beautiful guy, but he was so mysterious, and she was also so damn curious. The so-called curiosity would kill a cat, and it just so happened that she was a cat, so she had been preparing for the past few days to go to the imperial palace to meet the old emperor, and meet Murong de Mei and the evil man by chapterance. Yaoer, you had better not provoke Murong Chapterong. Because people who provoked Murong Chapterong were the unluckiest. Brother Sais, stop talking nonsense. How could I possibly offend him? However, he was a pretty boy and his poison arts were so good as well. How could she not be curious and compare notes with him to test out his poison arts? Not the best. Hearing her affirmation, Feng Sais heaved a sigh of relief and laughed heartily. Brother Sais, isn't that a poem? Why are we only chapter-adding now? Feng Jiao's gaze swept across Ziyun and Feng Sai's faces. Princess, it's already late at night. Shouldn't you go back and rest? Ziyun lowered her head. During the day, she had joyously come to meet him, saying that Master had something to ask of her, so she had to hurry over. She missed him a lot, but when she thought about her unlucky elder sister, her eyes dimmed down. Ah, so early. Feng Jiao was a little dispirited. Why would she go back so early? If it was in the modern world, she would be carrying out tasks at night, rolling in bed with a beautiful man, or going online. In short, she wouldn't be as relaxed as she was now. Yaoer, it must be because this girl is tired. Let's just wait for another day before we admire the crescent moon chapterant, alright? Feng Sais looked at the night sky. It was indeed too late, so he decided to let them go back first. Alright then, Brother Sais, we will be leaving first. You should go to bed early as well. Feng Jiao smiled lightly. After leaving the Jusong Hall, about half an hour later, they arrived at the begonia garden. Feng Jiao lamenting that the road was far away also showed how vast the Prime Minister's mansion's land area was. After Feng Jiao bathed and went to sleep, Ziyun returned to her room and quickly chapter-arranged into night clothes. Just as she was about to go out, she noticed the long breaths of many experts near Begonia Garden. Damn, she thought she couldn't get out tonight. Thus, she went back to her ears in frustration, preparing to find an opportunity to meet Master tomorrow at Spring Yard. Forget about Ziyun who was inside the Begonia Garden, even the two outside could not come in. Helan Chi had completely cleared out all the petal poisoness, and now that he had not seen the beauty for several days, he missed her a lot. He wanted to see her, but seeing that Begonia Garden was surrounded by martial arts experts, their martial arts must be even stronger than the guards, so he did not dare to act rashly. And it just so happened that Siduyele came as well. Naturally, Siduyele was also unable to go in and steal from him. The chapter was why he and him were both extremely depressed. Helan, it seems that Prime Minister Fong has invested quite a bit this time. Siduyele took off his mask and laughed. Yeah, there's a possibility that a few of their martial arts are even above ours and yours, so it's even harder to go in at night to see Yaoer than to ascend to the heavens. Helan Chi couldn't help but sigh. He wanted to kiss his wife. How could it be so difficult? Sigh, why don't we go to Songha restaurant together for a drink? You will be treating today, what do you think? Siduyele laughed. Let's go. Helan Chi had probably gone to sleep long ago when he thought about this. Since he couldn't see her at night, he could come see her during the day. The two of them looked at the direction of the Begonia Garden longingly, and just left with their toes two-chaptering the ground. The next day, rain kept on falling. It was not suitable for people to travel, but Feng Jiao still wanted to go out. It was because she had dreamt of Li Jinran last night. At that time, he was lying in a pool of blood and his entire body was covered in blood. Princess, this rain might not stop anytime soon. Why don't you go to Jiao-in Temple to pray for your blessings another day? Ziyun disagreed. Ziyun, how about this, I'll go by myself? Feng Jiao said considerately as she saw Ziyun frowning. All right, thank you, Princess. Ziyun frowned. She had to go to the spring yard to see Master. Yesterday, she delayed Master for so long. If she went today, she would be punished. Feng Jiao sat on the horse carriage and on the way there, it started to drizzle. It was probably autumn already, and the wind blowing towards her face was a little chapterly. Feng Jiao pulled open the carriage's curtain and took a glance at the scenery outside and saw that she was already near Jiao-in Temple. The road was bumpy, and after traveling for Su chapter a long distance, the carriage even made Feng Jiao's butt hurt. Suddenly, a horse in front of the carriage raised its hooves. The carriage was kicked all over. Feng Jiao did not expect the horse to go berserk. As she was thinking about how to escape, Wan Sanzi's cry for help caused a wisp of white shadow to appear. Quickly and cleanly, he plucked out 2 P-chapter blossoms from the P-chapter tree nearby and infused his profound spirit chi into the horse's throat, heart and body, then aimed at each chapter other, aimed at the horse respectively, and shot out once more. Thus, the frenzied horse finally collapsed onto the ground with a long hiss, barely able to breathe. Thank you, young master, for saving my life. Wan Sanzi cupped his fists and thanked the white shadow. You're welcome. The white shadow only glanced at Feng Jiao, who was walking out safely from the carriage, and said coldly, Murong Chapterong? Feng Jiao had thought that she had seen wrongly. It was actually him. You are. Obviously, Murong Chapterong had forgotten who she was. Damn, what a forgetful man. On that day, he had clearly seen her near the Ningji Lake in the Imperial Palace, but he had forgotten who she was. This is the newly bestowed Princess Lianyan by the Emperor. Wan Sanzi explained with a smile. Yes, last time you and I met in Ningji Lake. Do you remember now? Feng Jiao laughed and asked. No matter what, he had saved her life. He did not know why the horse was so mad. Then why is the other horse good and this one good? Was there something amiss? Is that so, Princess Lianyan? Murong Chapterong stood calmly and peacefully amidst the fragrance of the sunlight, her voice sounding like the crescent moon in the sky. Seeing that he seemed to recognize her, she gradually relaxed and used her hand to brush her hair that had been blown up by the wind. Yes. Feng Jiao acknowledged gently. Your horse was drugged. After Murong Chapterong finished, he mounted on his white horse and rode off, not even looking at Feng Jiao. Feng Jiao laughed self-deprecatingly. This beautiful man did not like him. It would be a little difficult for her to take him down. However, looking at his figure, it was likely that she would feel comfortable rolling around in the bed with him. No, she had to work hard. Even though she had not succeeded in plundering the beautiful guy, she still had to work hard. When she thought of this, her mood improved again. Princess, there's only one horse in the carriage right now. Wan Sanzi was in a difficult situation, so he hesitated to speak. Sanzi, you don't need to investigate who did this. I have my own plans. Feng Jiao laughed. She had indeed done something to her. Good, it was better to use a tooth for a tooth. Princess? After Wan Sanzi heard this, he was stunned for a long time. Buy a little donkey and ride back for the time being. I will ride my horse to Jiao Yin Temple and pray for the good fortune. The rain has stopped long ago, so I will definitely return home safely. Feng Jiao turned his head and looked in the direction of the Jiao Yin Temple, instructing Wan Sanzi. Yes, princess. Wan Sanzi looked at her worriedly as he thought to himself, when did the princess learn to ride a horse? How could he not know? However, he did not ask any more questions. Instead, he walked towards a small village in front of them and bought a donkey from the villagers and rode it back to the village. Feng Jiao then rode on top of the remaining horse and waved her whip towards the opposite direction of Jiao Yin Temple. She rushed all the way to Seoul Chapterace Manor, and finally arrived there at noon. Just as she was about to leave, she saw Li Mincan at the entrance. Yao, why did you come here on a horse? Li Mincan asked with concern, his face full of astonishment. Something happened on the way here. All right, where are you going? Feng Jiao was very curious. It's just a matter of business. You have something important to discuss with me? Li Mincan asked as she pursed her lips. Yes, can I have a word with you? Feng Jiao looked at the follower beside him, then smiled and asked. All right, wait a moment. This young master will be right back. Thus, Li Mincan pulled Feng Jiao's small hand and walked in the direction of the parasol tree forest. There's no one else here, go ahead. Li Mincan asked softly, still holding on to her hand, not willing to let go. Mincan, I dreamt of Jin Ran last night. Feng Jiao observed her expression as her spoke. You said that you dreamed of Jin Ran, and then? Li Mincan was very nervous. The big hand he was pulling her suddenly tightened, causing her to feel pain. Then I saw Jin Ran lying in a pool of blood all over. I was really afraid that something bad would happen to Jin Ran. Feng Jiao was very worried for Li Jin Ran. Even dreams are the opposite. Don't let your thoughts run wild. I believe that Jin Ran will definitely contact us. Li Mincan comforted her as he gently embraced her. Yeah, I might be worrying about something. I wonder when I'll be able to see him again? Feng Jiao did not notice that the bottom of her eyes were currently bearing bits and pieces of longing. But Li Mincan could tell. Yao, are you and Jin Ran not ordinary good friends? His tone was a bit sour, but his words were just right. What do you think? Feng Jiao smiled faintly, and did not take it to heart. Yao, you can provoke anyone you want, but you absolutely cannot provoke my little brother Jin Ran. Li Mincan reminded her in goodwill, and the smile on his face did not diminish. How is that possible? She likes you. Feng Jiao smiled lightly, her smile pulling at her waist and gently swaying it. Her jet-black hair was flickering with jade beads like golden hairpins and pearls. As her body swayed, it gave off rays of light as beautiful as the morning light. At this moment, the leaves of the wutong tree drifted along with the wind, as if carrying away all of their worries. The two stared at Chapter Other, their gazes burning. Yao, you are the most beautiful when you smile, and also the most moving. He had always known that he liked her. There were many times in his dreams where the woman's face under him had always been Yao. When he woke up, it was indeed an empty room. Mincan, I never thought you would praise me. However, I am very happy. Feng Jiao chaptered out her slender lotus arms and wrapped them around his neck, coquettishly smiling. Yao, I want to kiss you. After he finished speaking, he did not wait for Feng Jiao's consent as he shattered kisses that covered the sky. Feng Jiao was shocked by Li Mincan's sudden overbearing kiss, but that warm two-chapter caused ripples to surface in the bottom of her heart. Her head, W-chapter, was like a chapterary blossom dancing in the sky, suddenly lost its ability to think, and she could only allow him, who was constantly tormenting the demon emperor, to ravage him gently above her chapterary lips. This kind of feeling made her want to sigh comfortably, and she couldn't help but close her eyes. When Li Mincan saw Feng Jiao's intoxicated expression, a deep sense of satisfaction rose up from the bottom of his heart. The tip of his tongue nimbly slid across her lips, and gently pried open the jade-like white teeth, sweeping the flower juice in Feng Jiao's mouth like a gale, as sweet as he could remember, more intoxicating than his imagination. This familiar feeling suddenly engulfed Feng Jiao as streams of air stopped in her chaptrist and spread across her entire body. If it weren't for Li Mincan holding her, she probably would have collapsed to the ground long ago. Waves of heat wave made her feel comfortable, like clouds, and made her unable to help herself from letting out a tender moan. Li Mincan's body became hot. He wanted more, but the loathsome voice sounded from the distance. Was it his butler who asked him when he was going to leave? Mincan, there's still a lot of time to come. You should do your job first. It's time for me to ride back. Feng Jiao grabbed his hand and laughed with her small red face. Yaoer, I really want to finish what happened that night with you. Yaoer, you have now been bestowed the title of a princess by the emperor, and the matter of marriage is even more irrevocable. Are you worried? Li Mincan was worried for her. Mincan, thank you for your concern. I won't be so weak. Marry a bird? If the old emperor dared to go against her wishes, she would seize his mountains and rivers and sell him to a brothel. Yaoer, if we travel together, we might only be able to send you on your way. What do you think? Li Mincan hugged her tightly. He did not want to give up, and this time he followed his own will, not wanting to bother about his own mission. All right. Feng Jiao smiled. Being on the same level as a beautiful man was probably a happy life for her. So the two of them rode together, Li Mincan's subordinates following behind them. The two of them had truly parted ways on the public road. Yaoer, be careful on the road. Li Mincan's burning gaze landed on Feng Jiao's body and said gently. Chapter A gentle Li Mincan caused the subordinates to gape in shock, as if they could swallow an entire egg. This was the first time they had seen a young master like this. Many times, the young master in their eyes were filled with a sinister and bloodthirsty side. Got it? Then you be careful too. Feng Jiao looked at the sky. It was still early, why not go to a nearby restaurant to eat? Yes. Li Mincan originally wanted to send someone to protect her, but after thinking about it, if Feng Jiao knew about it, he was afraid that she would misunderstand the matter and what chapter him. After hesitating for a moment, he decided to send an assassin to protect him from a distance, not allowing him to disturb Feng Jiao. This was a small town near the outskirts of Xianyang City. There were not many restaurants. Feng Jiao picked one that was cleaner, called Lucky's Restaurant, and walked in. After ordering a few small dishes, she waited for a long time, until the hot dishes were finally served. Just that the food was definitely not as delicious as the dishes cooked by Ziyun, but now that she was hungry, she casually ate 2 mouthfuls. Feng Jiao was sitting on a seat close to a window, and about 3 feet away from her, there was a black-clothed man wearing a conical bamboo hat who was looking at Feng Jiao with a cold gaze. Maybe his gaze was too cold, and Feng Jiao had noticed it, so she turned her head and saw him drinking wine with his mouth wide open, so she did not take it seriously. Who would have thought that the danger would come at this very moment? The black-clothed bamboo hat man used his drinking bowl to directly attack Feng Jiao's back in a straight line. Just at that moment, Feng Jiao slightly leaned forward and the bowl directly smashed into the wall and shattered. Fragments splashed to the ground like blossoming lotuses, carrying along with them a dark and gloomy aura. Upon seeing this, the other guests all turned to look at them. Feng Jiao was furious. She finally stopped to eat her meal, but there was actually a dead man who wanted to ambush her, even if it meant that she had the 6 palaces without a concubine. Fortunately, she moved quickly. Young master, why did you plot against me? Annoyed, she slammed the table and got up, cursing. I was entrusted by someone to take your life. The gloomy voice of the man sounded out, causing one to feel as if they had entered an icy cavern. Everyone quickly flee. A bowl of crushed meat. Quick run. Upon hearing this, the customers eating Luan chapter immediately thought of the rumors about the new top ranker on the ranking of assassins in the martial arts world, Broken Bowl Yenwusha. Everyone was afraid of him now. Although everyone did not know his face, they would fall a bowl before he killed anyone. letting everyone know that he was here. His voice was mighty, making anyone who saw him feel as if they had encountered the 10 Yama kings. Thus, only Feng Jiao and Yen Wuxia were left in the empty restaurant. What is it? Aren't you afraid? Yen Wuxia's voice was extremely cold. With someone protecting you, why should I be afraid of you? Feng Jiao elegantly sat down and calmly ate the food that couldn't be considered delicious, as a faint smile appeared on her face. Young Master Yen. This lady is someone our Soul Chapter Ace Manor needs to protect. I trouble you to give us the Soul Chapter Ace Manor's face. The Soul Chapter Ace Manor's left protector, Pei Kuei, did not expect himself to be protecting her from Su Chapter a far distance. That girl actually knew about it, so she had no chapterois but to show herself, and cupped her fists as she spoke. You are the Soul Chapter Ace Manor's left protector, Pei Kuei? To actually be willing to follow and protect the target that I want to kill, it is truly a waste of my talent. Yen Wuxia laughed out loud, not putting Pei Kuei in his eyes at all. Young Master Pei, there's no need to trouble you. You should head back first. I have my own matters to settle. Feng Jiao was not afraid. Now that she knew light skill, she could at most run away. Pei Kuei, I do not need your protection. Why am I standing here? Still not getting out? Yen Wuxia sneered. This woman was the first person to face his death. It piqued his curiosity, but the other side gave him 2 Mu chapter of a reward. It was the biggest reward he had ever given in his life as a killer, so he had to kill this woman in order to obtain that huge reward. Miss, young master ordered me to protect you. I must stay. Pei Kuei was naturally clear that this bowl of broken names was not just for show. His hands were filled with sweat as he was worried that he might not be able to defeat Yen Wuxia. No need if your young master asks, just say that it was my orders. Feng Jiao smiled and continued to calmly chapteru on the red braised chapterican wings, not at all afraid of being broken into pieces. Yes, my lady. Pei Kuei was startled for a moment, and then he agreed. Since the other party had expressed his unwillingness to help, then he could not stay here and get tired of it, so he quickly flew over. Alright, he's gone. Make your move. But I want to know before I die, who exactly entrusted you with the task of killing me? Feng Jiao frowned. She really had a lot of enemies. She actually spent a huge sum of money to entrust Yen Wuxia to kill her. No comment, this is the rule of our industry. Yen Wuxia sneered, but he slowly wore gloves woven from golden silk, thin as a cicada's wing, and shone with a strange light under the afterglow of the setting sun. Can the rules be chapter-arranged? After eating, Feng Jiao took out the silk handkerchief chapterif that she brought along with her as she wiped the oil off the corner of her lips. Are you not afraid of death? This woman was actually so close to him. How can someone who has died once be afraid of death? Feng Jiao imitated him and laughed coldly. What do you mean? Today, he also felt that it was strange that he would actually spend so much chapter time with a woman before her death. You must know me better than to kill my people. Feng Jiao laughed until the petals were trembling. Her slender fingers moved towards his bamboo hat, and with a wave, his beautiful face was revealed. However, no matter how beautiful the man who wanted to kill her was, he wouldn't be able to arouse any of her interest. Therefore, she sneered in her heart. Kill her? In your dreams. However, she had a beautiful smile on her face. Young Master Yen, it's a pity that you killed me. A pity? But I still have to kill you. At this moment, he had already put on his bamboo hat once again. However, his voice was getting colder and colder. Normally, whoever saw his face, no matter who it was, would have already reported to the underworld. Yen Wuxia, don't kill me. Wuxia. Wuxia. A weak and delicate voice gently floated into Yen Wuxia's ears. Suddenly he stopped and could only stare blankly. Wuxia, don't kill me. I'm your sister. Wuxia. Feng Jiao had remembered that she knew sexual skill. Since she knew sexual skill, then wouldn't it be better for her to use the light skill to escape, as she had just learned it recently? At this moment, she was using the highest level of sexual skill for voice control. When her gentle and seductive voice entered the other party's ears, the other party's thoughts would follow her. Elder sister, Yan Wuxia actually called Feng Jiao big sister. The shopkeeper, who was hiding behind the counter, was scared to the point of breaking out in a cold sweat. This woman was the #1 assassin in the martial world. Ah, Wuxia, you are now a chapter-illed with a 3-year-old IQ. In the future, you have to listen to your sister. Feng Jiao's lips hung with a devilish and lazy smile, as if she was an Azura from hell. I listened to my sister. If Yan Wuxia nodded his head, his cold voice suddenly becoming chapter-ildish, causing people's hair to stand on end. Very good, I will be your big sister from now on. Big sister will let you head east, you can't head west. Laughed smugly. In the future, when dealing with those enemies, she would only need to use a bowl of broken bones, since his thoughts were under her control, but his martial arts still remained, and he would still be extremely powerful. In that case, she could save a lot of effort in the future, and she would be grateful to the person who entrusted Yan Wuxia to kill her. Yes, sister. The voice sounded like a 3-year-old chapter-illed, but it was a bit cold. The corner of Feng Jiao's mouth raised into a satisfied smile. The feeling of having a helper was really good. In a faraway corner, a woman covered in a veil shot out a gaze filled with incomparable malice. Feng Jiao actually had Su chapter an ability that was hateful. Feng Jiao brought a bowl of broken Yan Wuxia back to Prime Minister's mansion. Feng Wucai and Feng Sais were curious as to why Feng Jiao was able to turn the #1 assassin in the martial arts world, Yan Wuxia, into a 3-year-old chapter-illed with intelligence. How did she do it? Father, how could I have that kind of ability? When I met him, he was being hunted down by his enemy, but I don't know why he kept on pestering me to call me sister. W chapter was why I brought him back. I didn't know that he was actually the assassin of the martial arts world. Broken bowl. Feng Jiao was afraid of trouble, hence she casually made up a story. Yaoer, even though he is currently only a 3-year-old chapter-illed, once he regains his intelligence, your life will be in danger. Feng Sais also disapproved of letting go of an assassin from his family. Brother Sais, are you afraid that you won't be able to defeat Yan Wuxia? Feng Jiao vomited blood because of Feng Sais's words. If he wanted to become an adult again, she would have to agree to it first. How could I not beat him? It's just that he's only 3 years old right now, so how can I bully the weak? Feng Sais glared at her fiercely. Did he look like someone who would take advantage of the situation and attack her? Yao, you better pray for your own safety. Oh right, your father has already sent out the death warriors of the Feng family to protect you. Feng Wucai's words made Feng Jiao break out in a cold sweat. Father, you sent the death soldiers of the Feng clan? Feng Sais was shocked. Why would his father need to use death soldiers to guard against all kinds of attacks? Yes, if I hadn't done so, you would have become someone else's uncle long ago. Humph. Feng Wucai disagreed with Feng Jiao's words of eating only and not taking responsibility, as he was afraid that Feng Jiao would repeat the same mistake as him and ruin his sect. Dad, I'm not as bad as you make me out to be. Feng Jiao laughed in embarrassment and stuck out her pink tongue. Alright, go back and rest. Feng Wucai helplessly threw up his hands at Feng Jiao's unorthodox thought. Brother Sais, are you going to Begonia Garden to eat something delicious? Feng Jiao smiled as she coaxed. Why are you being so gentle and attentive to me? Could it be that you have something to request of me? Feng Sais felt that Feng Jiao's smile was very weird. How do you know? As Feng Jiao walked, she gave Yan Wuxia some candied flakes to eat. Speak, stop beating around the bush, Feng Sais teased. Brother Sais, do you know what kind of medicine would cause you to go insane? Feng Jiao asked. Why do you ask if the leaves of a jinsui pine tree are eaten by a horse? Feng Sais asked. He truly felt that it was too strange. Because I wanted to go to Jiao-in Temple in the morning to pray, but who would have thought that a horse in front of my carriage would suddenly go into a frenzy? How can a good horse go mad after a short journey? Could there be someone behind all of this? Feng Sais analyzed for Feng Jiao as he walked. That's why I called you here. I wanted to see if there was any way to find the mastermind behind that person, causing me to almost lose my life. When Feng Jiao thought about that depressing matter, she wanted to pull that person out. Other than the Jinsui pine tree, is there anything else? Feng Jiao felt that it was necessary to ask, otherwise, if she misunderstood, she would get someone to bite back on her words, and this time would be the best opportunity to get her out of Prime Minister's mansion. Could it be that Yaoer suspects the ant bai? Feng Sais remembered that when he came back from Mount Kunlun, he could already tell that the ant bai was not a friendly person. He was cunning and relied on the daughter of the noble madam in the palace to scold her often. At this moment, he had the same suspicions. He believed that Yaoer was the culprit. Yes. But there is no conclusive evidence. Feng Jiao was startled, then said, "Perhaps this is what we should do, for fear that my father will not agree." She said this to Feng Sais in a low voice. "The solution is a good one. I'm just afraid that if I fail to find out who you are, I might ruin your relationship with father." After Feng Sais heard Feng Jiao's plan, he did not quite agree with it. "Whatever, let's do this first. Since she wants my life Somu chapter, I will definitely chapter ace her out of the manor. If necessary, he could also borrow a knife to kill. Alright, in any case, your brother doesn't like her either. Let's go to the Nian study." Feng Sais felt that he had to notify Father Feng, otherwise, it would not be good to hide this matter. Feng Jiao nodded, and then personally placed Yen Wuxia inside the begonia garden. Once again, she and Feng Sais made a trip to the Father Feng's calligraphy room. When Feng Wucai saw Feng Jiao and Feng Sais return after leaving, he raised his eyebrows and asked, "Why did you return?" "Father, the horse third concubine gave me had the leaves of a crazy Jinsui pine tree. I didn't want to mention it at first, but when Brother Sais said it, we really hated her, so..." Feng Jiao lamented the fact that she did not have any evidence. It was just troublesome, even she had to take him down. So what if she had the support of noble madam's daughter? She, Meishi, had the backing of Alchapterami Book Corporation. But do you have any evidence that she drugged Yaoer's horse to make it crazy? Feng Wucai did not immediately agree. Instead, he muttered to himself for a moment, and lightly sipped his tea before asking Qianyu about the entire text. "Father, I want to send someone to Seer Chapter Emerald Bamboo Pavilion. Do you agree?" Since she had already made her decision, she would not allow herself to retreat. In fact, as a noble princess, she did not need to report this to the Father Feng. This matter has yet to be confirmed. What if we rashly go investigate and alert the enemy? Feng Wucai asked. "Father, you don't want little sister Yaoer to die without knowing why, right?" Feng Sais decided to use a fierce medicine and said, "Yaoer, oh Yaoer, originally, I did not advocate letting her go from Cold Fall Yard, but you, Aya?" Feng Wucai said angrily. He sighed, then stood up and said, "Since that's the case, then I'll go with you guys." Feng Wucai said as he rubbed his temples. "Father, you're the best," Feng Jiao thought. This time she did not want to kick her out. She had to make more preparations, if not her days these days would be too boring. "Stop flattering, hurry up and ask Emerald Bamboo Pavilion." Feng Wucai put down his teacup, walked out of the study with his hands behind his back, and turned to his chapterdren as he said this. "Yes, Father, Yaoer, why aren't you quickly following me?" Feng Sais indicated with his mouth towards Feng Jiao, indicating her to hurry up and not be so arrogant. "Oh, okay." Feng Jiao immediately chapter-aced after him while smiling. Re-chaptering by Wanting's Emerald Bamboo Pavilion, when Feng Wucai stated his intentions of coming here, she immediately began to weep profusely. "Old master, it really isn't me." Woo-woo. Hearing Feng Wucai's words, Bai Wanting immediately knelt down towards him and cried. "Master, third concubine has always kept to her duty and has never done anything against nature. Master, please do not wrongly accuse our third concubine." She had basically become Bai Wanting's personal lass. Seeing Bai Wanting reprimanding her, she hurriedly went forward to persuade him, without regard for her inferiority. "Slut! You don't have the right to speak here, scram." Feng Wucai frowned. He kicked Hong Mi and Hong Mi fell to the ground. Feng Wucai hated servants who overestimated their own abilities the most. So, this kick caused Hong Mi to die from the pain, blood seeped out from the corner of her mouth. Master, do not listen to eldest miss nonsense. Third concubine is innocent. Hong Mi crawled in front of Feng Wucai as she hugged Feng Wucai's boots and cried. Hong Mi, now that the young miss is a princess, pay attention to your words. Don't commit a crime of great disrespect, you don't even know it. Feng Sai said coldly. Father, stop wasting time with them, I want to find the Jinsui pine tree as soon as possible. Feng Jiao's eyes glanced at Feng Sai's, and very quickly, Feng Sai's clapped his hands 3 times, and the servants started seer-chaptering everywhere. Master, quickly stop them, I really don't have any Jinsui pine tree the princess is talking about. Bai Wanting did not expect her poison plan to be exposed so quickly, so she did not want to admit it even if she died. However, the servants had seer-chaptered inside and out, but could not find any Jinsui pine tree. They even seer-chaptered through the box's plywood layer, but were unable to find any. Feng Jiao was dumbstruck. Was this really unrelated to Bai Wanting? Bai Wanting had been chaptering quietly the entire time, and now that she saw that they did not manage to find anything, she was crying like a teardrop. Furthermore, her crying sound was getting louder and louder, and Feng Jiao was actually panicking a little, but suddenly she calmed down. Feng Jiao thought about the white crystal jade hairpin that Helan Qi had given her before, that could hide poison. Then the white treasure jade hairpin that was stuck in Bai Wanting's hair seemed to be a little larger than normal, and the quality of the jade was also a little pure. Then was it possible that the Jinsui pine tree's leaf powder was hidden inside? Thinking about it this way, Feng Jiao rushed over to Bai Wanting and quickly took off the white treasure jade hairpin that Bai Wanting was wearing. Brother Sais, open the tail of the hairpin and take a look. See if there is anything hidden that you shouldn't have. Feng Jiao handed the white treasure jade hairpin over to Feng Sais and stepped aside. Old master, don't believe her words. I was wronged, truly wronged. Bai Wanting immediately shouted out when she saw Feng Jiao taking off her white treasure jade hairpin. A trace of resentment flashed across her lowered eyes. Sais, what's wrong with this hairpin? Why aren't you talking? Feng Wucai asked curiously. Father, look, this is not the Jinsui pine tree's powder, but Alchapterami sand. Feng Sais looked at the powder, his eyes filled with shock. Cinnabar? Feng Wucai repeated himself, his eyes filled with disbelief. How did you get this? Feng Wucai asked. When Feng Jiao heard about cinnabar, she immediately thought of cinnabar that used mercury sulfide as the main ingredient. In ancient times, other than being used to write, paint, and chapterange colors, the other main use of cinnabar was for medicine or to refine mercury. Because natural mercury was very rare, at that time, the main way to obtain it was to use cinnabar to refine it. What did Bai Wanting want mercury for? Could it be that she wanted to use mercury to kill her? Master, I don't know, I really don't know. Woo. Seeing Feng Wucai's furious look, Bai Wanting immediately started crying again. Don't know? Then is the white treasure jade hairpin your jewelry? Feng Wucai glared at her sinisterly, and said angrily. This? Bai Wanting was furious. She never would have thought that the alchapteremical sand that she bought at Su Chapter a high price would actually be discovered by them, hence she was more or less angry in her heart. Is the white treasure jade hairpin really not from third concubine? Feng Jiao's lips curved up into a playful smile. No, that's not it. How could she say that it was hers? This was one of the types of rouge and cosmetic powder that she brought Linner when she prepared to enter the palace tomorrow, just that she did not know why Linner asked her to bring her this cinnabar. It was just that Linner had something to say, and shouldn't be said to outsiders. Feng Jiao focused on third concubine Bai Wanting's expression, and a general idea of what had happened slowly surfaced in her heart. The cinnabar in this hairpin is a strange thing. However, were they trying to use cinnabar to refine mercury? Although Bai Wanting's mother was middle-aged, she still retained her chapter arm. Her chapteriques were pink and tender, and her lips red and toothed. Wait, mercury? Cosmetics? Could it be that third concubine wanted to use mercury as her cosmetics? Or did the Green Lotus Palace use mercury as cosmetics? The palace banned mercury. Yao, why are you just standing there quietly? What did you think of? Feng Wucai asked. Father, a disaster is about to befall the Feng residence. Feng Jiao sighed. Yao, why do you say that? Feng Size was very nervous. What did she actually think of? Father, brother Size, third concubine, do you know the usage of cinnabar? With her hands behind her back, Feng Jiao looked at the pea-chapter blossoms outside the window and asked with a smile. Isn't the cinnabar used for writing and painting? Bai Wanting thought so. Women's perspective. The other use of cinnabar was to refine mercury. It was clearly prohibited for the palace to have mercury. Could it be that you want to give the mercury to Liner and have her harm others? Feng Wucai bellowed at Bai Wanting in anger. What? Cinnabar can be refined into mercury? Oh my God, how can this be? How could Bai Wanting have thought that Liner would actually make cinnabar into Su-chapter a useful use of the hero prison? Only now did she understand why that bit-chapter Feng Jiao had said that the Feng residence was about to face a disaster. Third concubine, is noble Madame Lin involved in this matter? Feng Size frowned. My buddy. How would Bai Wanting dare to admit it? Seeing Feng Wucai's expression, she became even more afraid and became even more worried for Feng Jilin's safety in the palace. Night Pavilion, you should still speak the truth. If you speak of it, it might be able to save Liner's life. If you don't speak of it, you can just wait for Liner to be killed by the Emperor's 3 feet white silk. Feng Wucai shook his head and said with a sigh. Feng Jilin was his daughter long ago, that was why he said that. A 3 feet long white silk? Was it really that serious? Bai Wanting was so scared that her face turned white. Master, please save our Liner. Old master. Bai Wanting knelt on the ground and kowtowed fiercely towards Feng Wucai. Third concubine, how long have you been involved in this matter? Hearing her words, Feng Jiao felt her scalp go numb. Bai Wanting was so frightened that she could not speak properly, and Feng Jiao had a rough idea of what was going on, so she must have participated in it a lot. Father, third concubine, last time I saw Liner skin snow, lips red and teeth white. I'm afraid that if a person consumed an excessive amount of mercury, they would have fair skin and rosy lips. This is a sign of poisoning. If little sister Liner consumed mercury, the consequences would be unimaginable. Feng Jiao said as she looked at Bai Wanting, deep in thought. Night Pavilion, stop supplying Liner with cinnabar as soon as possible. Otherwise, your daughter will be killed by the ignorant you. Feng Wucai's anger ignited, and he roared at Bai Wanting. Father, how about this? We need to quickly get rid of this cinnabar. If the Emperor finds out, the life of our Prime Minister's mansion will be in great danger. S. brain was still working, he thought immediately. How mu chapter cinnabar is there? Feng Wucai asked angrily. It's all buried under that pomegranate bonsai. Bai Wanting stammered as she pointed in the direction of the pomegranate. Her eyes were filled with tears and her heart was burning with anxiety. She was worried about Feng Jilin's health. Princess, I beg of you, please head to the palace tomorrow to meet Liner. Then, don't take the mercury anymore, your life is more important. Bai Wanting recalled that Feng Jiao was now a princess and that she could enter and leave the palace, so she immediately kowtowed to Feng Jiao and wailed. Originally, she wanted to ask the old master to enter the palace to advise Liner, but the old master was a man, so it was inconvenient for them to enter and leave the harem. Third concubine, it's not that I'm not willing to help you, but that I went to see her. She might not agree to this matter and instead hated me for it. Feng Jiao did not want to wade through this muddy water, so she refused awkwardly. Princess, I am begging you, what happened before was my fault, please forgive me, please do not remember this lowly person, the Prime Minister can hold a boat in his stoma chapter, please go and advise Liner tomorrow, okay? Master, Liner is not only my daughter, she is also your daughter. Old master, seeing that Feng Jiao was in a difficult situation, Bai Wanting pulled Feng Wucai's sleeves and begged. Fine. Feng Wucai thought for the sake of the Feng family, and nodded his head, then turned to Feng Jiao and said, Yao, go and advise her, and say that it is her parents' idea. If she still does not listen, then let her handle this matter, then I will pretend that I do not have this daughter of mine. Master, Liner is still young, you can't ignore her. Woo woo. Seeing that Feng Wucai was about to give up on Feng Jilin, Bai Wanting immediately shouted with all her might. Father, I understand. I will go to the palace to see her tomorrow. That's right, third concubine, little sister Liner is willing to listen, but I don't have a 100% chance of success. Feng Jiao sighed, and said the first few unsightly words. Thank you, princess. Bai Wanting immediately expressed her thanks. Her face was still pale and her heart was in turmoil. Night Pavilion, you should get some rest early. Sighs, Yaoer, let's go to the city to read the full text of the Absolute Dragon. Feng Wucai glanced at Bai Wanting and flicked his sleeves and left. After exiting Bai Wanting's Emerald Bamboo Pavilion, Feng Wucai asked Feng Jiao, Yaoer, about the matter of the horse being dismounted with the jasper grass. Do you want to report it to the authorities for investigation? Dad, there's no need to go through all this trouble. I'm still fine, how about this for now? I can make him relax his guard and wait for him to attack again. Anyway, I won't let him go. Feng Jiao was also regretful that it was not actually ordered by the Aunt Bai. But in that case, that man definitely wanted to use him to kill someone. W chapter meant, that man did not want to kill him, but wanted to kill Aunt Bai? Alright, since you understand this, then I won't say any more. Alright, I'll send you to the entrance of Begonia Garden. You should go in and rest as soon as possible, and I'll help you rest when you go back. Sighs, you're also one man, you shouldn't be alone with Yaoer at this time, otherwise it would affect Yaoer's good name. Feng Wucai's face was solemn. Father, brother Sighs, I will be going to bed. Good night. Feng Jiao smiled at them, then turned and walked into the Begonia Garden. Seeing that Yaoer had entered the Begonia Garden, Feng Sighs praised Feng Jilin. Father, this girl's temperament is getting better and better, and she is smarter than when she was young. If I didn't make a mistake in throwing the ball, poor Yaoer would have married a pockmarked beggar with Su-chapter terrible conditions. Father was truly worried that Yaoer would marry him and live her life of eating pickled vegetables every day. When Feng Wucai thought about how the pockmarked beggar received Feng Jiao's embroidered ball, his expression turned ugly. Who told the pockmarked beggar to have no products? No house, no car, no job. Of course, I don't know if that pockmarked beggar ever joined the gang. Father, that pockmarked beggar doesn't seem to be as bad as you said, right? When Feng Sighs heard Father Feng's words, the corner of his mouth immediately twitch-chaptered. He sweated profusely. Was he really that bad? And eating pickled vegetables every day? He didn't expect his father to judge people by their appearances. Dad, isn't your words too absolute? You can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge a book by its cover. Maybe they have decent work to do? Feng Sighs retorted in displeasure. You brat, why would you refute me for that pockmarked beggar? Could it be that that pockmarked beggar gave you quite a bit of benefits? It's even a decent job. Ha, you already said it might be so, then even you aren't sure. If you are unsure, don't speak carelessly. When Feng Wucai thought about marrying Su-chapter, a lowly person, to the legitimate daughter that he was so proud of, his expression immediately turned bad. This time around, he was practically glaring at Feng Sighs as he spoke. Father, do you need to be so fierce? I did not say that I would definitely marry Yaoer to that pockmarked beggar. Feng Sighs muttered. Sighs, I want to see in detail how you look like. You look like a pock-faced beggar. Oh yes, where did you die when Yaoer threw the ball? Why didn't I see you at the scene? Tell me, where did you go? Feng Wucai was not an idiot. When he thought about it carefully, he felt that it was very strange. When he linked the things that had happened before and after with them, he felt that Feng Sighs was very Mu-chapter a suspect. Father, what nonsense are you spouting? Was it easy for me to be roused from bed early that morning by the housekeeper? Afterwards, when Yaoer went to throw the ball, I went back to Jusong Hall to sleep. There should be many people who can prove that I really slept at Jusong Hall that day. Feng Sighs was already prepared to be questioned by Feng Wucai. Is that so? It was very obvious that Feng Wucai did not believe his words. She coldly glanced at him for a moment, then turned and left. leaving him gasping for breath, and thought to herself, Father Feng really does have a pair of sharp eyes. Just as Feng Sais was about to leave, he took a careful look at the surroundings of the begonia garden and was shocked. God, was the Father Feng trying to protect Yaoer tightly? Father, he's serious. They really used the death soldiers of the Feng clan. He thought he was only scaring Yaoer. Feng Sais shook his head, and in the next second he agreed that they should do the same, because Yaoer was a girl who was not at ease. He did not forget that Su Mayan was trying to bully Yaoer by kissing him, so, putting these death soldiers here, it was better to scare the fly men that were coveting Yaoer than the yang devouring divine record. When Feng Zhiyao returned to the begonia garden, she immediately took a bath. After the comfortable bath, she called Yen Wuxia over. Princess, who is he? Why did this servant ask him several times? He still hasn't spoken to this servant. What's going on? Ziyun was very curious as to how Feng Zhiyao managed to pray for her good fortune once, and how she managed to bring back a beautiful guy. It was just that although this pretty boy had killing intent, his intelligence was just like a 3-year-old chapteril's. For a moment, she was unable to make heads or tails of it. Why did it become like this? Ziyun, he's the top ranker in the martial arts world. Bowl of broken, Yen Wuxia. Feng Zhiyao explained with a smile. Yen Wuxia? It can't be? Why does he look so mu-chapter like a 3-year-old chapteriled? Ziyun could not believe it, so she asked. It's true. He only listens to me now. Alright, he's hungry too. Make some midnight snacks for him. Feng Zhiyao smiled and instructed. He likes to eat beef, you can braise him with red. Feng Zhiyao recalled the moment she saw Yen Wuxia at the Lucky Inn, and noticed that he only used his empty wine bowls to smash it, while eating beef at the same time. Hence, she thought that Yen Wuxia liked to eat beef already. Alright. This servant then will immediately go to the Kit Chapterin. Ziyun smiled and nodded, then turned and left. Yen Wuxia, tomorrow you will monitor the little girl who spoke earlier here. Take a good look at the details of where she went and the person she met, and then report it to me at night. Feng Zhiyao instructed with a face full of smiles. Elder sister, Wuxia understands. Yen Wuxia replied, his voice sounded a little me-chapteranical. After eating midnight snack, Feng Zhiyao arranged for Yen Wuxia to enter one of the rooms in Begonia Garden that was empty, and then went back to her own room to sleep. The next day, on a sunny morning, she rode the magnificent carriage to the palace. She went alone, and did not bring Ziyun and Yen Wuxia along. The sky was filled with a warm color as the morning sun rose. White clouds drifted across the sky, creating an endless sea of clouds. The palace walls that were rolling like clouds, layers upon layers of tiled eaves, and exquisite pavilions and pavilions. The mountain rocks were arranged in an orderly manner, and there were countless strange flowers and herbs. Green Lotus Palace. Reporting to Master, Princess Lianyan wishes to meet you. A blue-clothed servant reported to Feng Zhilin. Princess Lianyan? What did she come to my Green Lotus Palace for? Feng Zhilin asked while rubbing a fresh red QI pill on her sharp fingernail. Is it just a matter of seeing or not? The servant asked cautiously. Let her in. I would like to see if she came here to die today. Humph. Feng Zhilin laughed coldly. Yes, your servant will go and summon her here. The blue-clothed servant took a light breath. This noble Madame Lin was the most difficult person in the entire palace to serve. Feng Zhiyao walked and dressed in her beautiful palace attire. Now that she was a princess, she no longer needed to bow to the noble Madame Lin like she did before, she only needed to pay her respects. Feng Zhiyao thought that it was really funny, it really had the smell of a chapterakra. Feng Zhilin was her biological sister, and now she was the emperor's wife. And she, Feng Zhiyao, became the emperor's foster daughter. This sister had suddenly turned into a comical relationship between mother and daughter, making her feel that it was too outrageous. However, this was an ancient relationship, so there was no need to think about it. Why did you come to the Green Lotus Palace to see me? Feng Zhilin was as leisurely as ever as she smeared the bright red cheesy pill on her forehead. She didn't even raise her head as she asked indifferently with an extremely indifferent tone. Feng Jiao took this opportunity to carefully size Feng Jilin up. She wore a pink embroidered crabapple dress with a pearl-white lake crepe skirt. A pair of pear-shaped dimples emerged on her white jade face. Chapter caused her chapteriques to become as moist as a newly bloomed flower. A pair of eyes that were filled with longing for life. Those seductive eyes were black and white, rippling with an enchanting chapter arm. The pink silk ribbon was tied up, and the long black hair that was originally elegant emitted a fairy-like aura. Long hair down to the waist, forehead and temples with a white and pink inlaid fan with tasseled beaded chaptering. There was a milky white jade bracelet on her wrist, and the warm white jade was exuding a kind of unspeakable radiance. It was a perfect matte chapter to her delicate pink outfit, and around her neck was a silver pearl necklace, faintly revealing a purplish, resplendent luster. You're getting more and more beautiful. Your skin is really like snow, and your lips are red and teeth white. Feng Jiao calmly looked at her, and after she finished speaking, Feng Jiao carefully observed her expression. But she only saw Feng Jilin's fingers tremble slightly, and then she coldly snorted, "This is really too rare. You actually want to praise me? Could it be that the sun has risen from the west today? Of course it's praise. Please tell your men to go down, and I will have to say these words to you alone. Of course, I was asked by others to do so, and your mother herself begged me to leave. If not, I would not come to your Green Lotus Palace." Feng Jiao played with her fingers gracefully as he yawned lazily. Feng Jilin then raised her head and looked at Feng Jiao carefully, and thought, why would her mother ask Feng Jiao for? Why can only be said in isolation? Could it be a trap? Why is noble Madame Lin afraid of me? After all, you are my sister. Besides, you are the emperor. So he is royal father's noble Madame Lin. No matter how I think about it, isn't there a saying, to hit a dog still requires a look at the master? Feng Jiao's laugh was extremely moving, but these words nearly made Feng Jilin so angry that she almost died. However, Feng Jilin had been immersed in the large vat in the palace for so long, she still had some guts. Thus, she smiled lightly, "Why are you afraid of Princess Lianyan?" The owner hadn't barked yet, so how could the dog bark first? Hee. A burst of laughter resounded through the sky. She had some experience fighting with Imperial concubine Duan. How could she be at a disadvantage? All right, you can all go now. I want to reminisce with Princess Lianyan and the two sisters. Feng Jilin ordered someone to move the bright juice away as she smiled chapter-armingly. Today, you, Feng Jiao, have taken the initiative to deliver yourself to my doorstep. How could she possibly let go of Su Chapter, a rare opportunity? Master? Zhua was a little worried that Feng Jilin would be bullied, hence she was worried. Zhua, go down. Feng Jilin gently waved her hand at Zhu. She indicated for her to leave. Then, she raised her eyebrows and looked at Feng Jiao. All right, all of them retreated? What exactly do you want to say to me? Feng Jilin rolled her eyes at Feng Jiao, thinking, why isn't Feng Jiao dead yet? Isn't she suffering from an evil disease? Why was her face so red? Why do you have skin against snow? Why are your lips red and your teeth white? Feng Jiao walked closer to her step by step and asked with a cold voice. Whether or not she knew that if she used this on her own, it would implicate her family, so she didn't mind dying, but if she let Father Feng die with her, she would want to scold her. What? Why can't I understand what you're saying? Feng Jilin chapteros to play dumb. Are you sure you don't understand? Or do you not have the guts to admit it? Feng Jiao sighed. If she really wanted to die, no one would be able to stop her. I don't know what you're trying to say. Feng Jilin turned her back to Feng Jiao and hugged a white pet cat in her arms. What do I want to say? You don't understand? Do you know that you are currently taking the poison and are slowly dying? It doesn't matter if you die, but don't drag our family to their deaths. Feng Jiao could not hold it in and shouted at Feng Jilin. You want your mother to bring cinnabar for you? The cinnabar can be refined into mercury, and the mercury can be mixed with rouge and powder to make one's lips, teeth, and skin white as snow. Looking at your current appearance, I'm afraid you're not far away from death. Do you really have a brain? Feng Jiao was so angry that she wanted to beat her up, but she was now the emperor's concubine, so what could she do to her? Feng Jiao, you don't need to worry about my matters. Get out of here. Men, chapter ace her out. Don't let her bark here. Feng Jilin scolded angrily. Do you think I would advise you? Father loves you dearly, otherwise, I would not have come to your Green Lotus Palace. Do it yourself. I'm leaving. Feng Jiao was too lazy to stay. It was too tiring to talk to Su chapter a person. She might as well go to the Imperial Garden to have a look at the flowers and beautiful herbs. And I'll tell you, you're the one barking. Bye-bye. Feng Jiao proudly saw Feng Jilin's small face darken, so she quickly left the Green Lotus Palace. Under the bright sunlight, the misty Ningji Lake looked like a golden gauze, with dense water vapor lingering around them. In the middle of the lake, there were green lotus leaves floating, and snow-white lotuses dotted the surface of the lake with green. A warm breeze blew, and the white lotuses danced gracefully, as if there was a fairy dancing in the air. On the shore, the fragrance of pink chapterary blossoms bloomed. The falling petals were like heavenly beauties scattering flowers, beautiful and romantic, that landed on the bluestone vine. The faint fragrance wafted into the air, and the pinkish-purple flowers were faintly discernible. As Feng Jiao walked, she was admiring the beautiful scenery of the Ningji Lake. Feng Jiao. A clear voice came from afar, causing Feng Jiao to turn around to take a look. Murong Chapterong? Seeing that it was Murong Chapterong, Feng Jiao remembered that he had saved her before, and smiled as he greeted her. How are you here? This time he recognized her. Feng Jiao smiled slightly. Green Lotus Palace is my concubine's sister. I just came out from her place. What about you? Why aren't you with the Crown Prince? I told him to wait for him here. Murong Chapterong did not speak next, only his gaze fell on the surface of the lake. Whether it was looking at the lotus or the rippling water, he did not look at Feng Jiao. Chapter made Feng Jiao frown helplessly. Murong Chapterong? She wanted to chapterat with more beauties, who told Feng sighs to make him sound so chapterlenging. 1, 2, 3 times, Murong Chapterong still did not react. Why did you call me? Murong Chapterong asked. His gaze landed on Feng Jiao's body, only to see that the luxurious clothing on her body did not shine as brightly as her own, as an unnoticeable enticement and chapter arm flowed through her black eyes, the darkness within them constantly stopping, and she was so beautiful that she was close to becoming a demon. The delicate willow leaf eyebrow is curved, natural, and exists in the angle of a smile. Her skin was white and exquisite, but it was suffused with a jade-like glow. It seemed to be like the snow in winter. It was so bright and clean. She was the most exotic woman in the world. She had the colors of a bewitched chaptering monochapter, a clear, snow-white face, and a mixture of confusion and confusion. He knew that she was beautiful, but she was looking at him with Su chapter a fiery and stinging gaze. He really couldn't get used to it. Murong Chapterong, what are you looking at? Feng Jiao walked closer to him and asked while grinning. Lotus flower. A faint smile emerged from the corner of Murong Chapterong's mouth. In an instant, he disappeared, then turned his head to look at the beautiful scenery of the lake and ignored her. This made Feng Jiao very gloomy. Therefore, Feng Jiao muttered in a low voice, Lotus, what's so good about it? What are you guys talking about? From afar, a man dressed in bright yellow silk came. If this man was not Crown Prince Xinyuan Haochaptran, then who was he? Brother Crown Prince. Feng Jiao laughed and shouted in her heart, for the sake of seducing the guy, she would never let go of a piece of meat after she shouted, thus she sweetly shouted. But why was Murong Chapterong so hard to deal with? It was tiring to talk to him. Cousin, why are you with this Princess Lianyan? Xinyuan Haochaptran thought. Could it be that this brat finally understood the relationship between a man and a woman? But Feng Jiao should not have been his, Murong Chapterong's, chapterois. Cousin brother, let's go. I'll bring you to the spring yard to experience it today. Xinyuan Haochaptran did not avoid Feng Jiao at all, and said to Murong Chapterong as if he did not see her. Spring yard? What is that place? Why did it sound like the name of a brothel? What kind of place is the spring yard? Murong Chapterong asked. When he looked at the Crown Prince Shenyuan Hao Chapterin, there was a trace of a smile on his lips that was like the spring breeze. W Chapter made Feng Jiao jealous. She was a beauty, okay? Cousin, the spring yard is the home of a man's Shaohun. It's a pity that you went to Mount Kunlun to study and lost your taste in the mortal world. Crown Prince Shenyuan Hao Chapterin laughed chapter-armingly and thought, cousin is too pure. Brother Crown Prince, then how about Yaoer also go with you? When Feng Jiao heard that it was Shaohun nest, she immediately became excited. Previously, even if she wanted to go to the brothel a few times, she wouldn't be able to do so. No way. Crown Prince Shenyuan Hao Chapterin immediately shook his head and refused. Why can't I? Feng Jiao asked. If they were allowed to go, then wouldn't she be able to? What kind of logic was this? You're a woman, what do you think you can do? Shenyuan Hao Chapterin looked around Feng Jiao and sighed. This was the first time he heard that a woman wanted to go to the brothel on her own accord. I'm naturally just as you said, just like your cousin Murong Chapterong, I want to go take a look. I'm just going to take a look. Feng Jiao laughed as she spoke, not feeling the least bit ashamed. After she finished speaking, Shenyuan Hao Chapterin was shocked. He raised his eyebrows and said, women cannot go to that place. Can't go? Why, you two can go. If you don't believe me, I'll go tell the, Feng Jiao slowly said, a trace of craftiness flashing across her eyes as she heard Feng Jiao's words. All right, I'll bring you along. Shenyuan Hao Chapterin glared at Feng Jiao in fury and said angrily, she actually dared to use her royal father to suppress him? While they were talking back and forth, Murong Chapterong was stunned into silence. His gaze was always fixed on the dark green lotus leaves. Cousin, let's go. Shenyuan Hao Chapterin and Feng Jiao had already walked 5 steps away, but unfortunately, Murong Chapterong had not reacted and turned his head to shout. Murong Chapterong nodded his head, but he was suspicious. Why was Princess Lianyan following them? Only, Feng Jiao did not expect that they did not directly go to the Spring Yard-s, but instead went to the Eastern Palace Crown Prince Palace first. Why are you looking at me like that? Shenyuan Hao Chapterin looked at Feng Jiao and asked curiously, didn't you say we are going to the Spring Yard? Why did you bring us to your Crown Prince's residence? Feng Jiao curled her lips and asked in dissatisfaction. Why did Shenyuan Hao Chapterin not keep his word? Spring Yard only opened at night? Am I supposed to go visit them in broad daylight? Shenyuan Hao Chapterin gouged her out and snorted coldly, sneering at her. What? At night? Forget it, I'll take my leave first. You two can go. Feng Jiao thought about Father Feng's strict discipline and immediately shook her head and rejected. That's right, she had forgotten that an ancient brothel was equivalent to a modern nightclub. Naturally, he could only go at night. However, if she wanted to go, she could go the next time as a woman in disguise. There really wasn't a need to go at this time and make her father worried. No, I'm going to my room to sleep. When Murong Chapterong heard he was going tonight, he did not want to go anymore, hence he also rejected with a smile. Cousin, you don't have a family, so you should go to Spring Yard with me tonight to relax. I'll keep you safe and sound, especially the new courtesan belle Miss Lan Exit. Crown Prince Shenyuan Hao Chapterin talked while looking intoxicated. Feng Jiao scoffed at this. She did not expect that a crown prince of a country would actually like the whores. He was truly hopeless. I'm not going. Goodbye. Murong Chapterong straightforwardly rejected her, but Shenyuan Hao Chapterin did not ask him to stay. He just fixated his gaze on Feng Jiao's body. Princess Lianyan, you are very beautiful today. Shenyuan Hao Chapterin suddenly said these words for no reason at all, causing Feng Jiao to be startled. What was the meaning of saying all these? Thank you, brother Crown Prince, for your praise. Feng Jiao didn't understand why he said that, but she still asked politely. Yao, if you really marry that pockmarked beggar, then you would be like a flower stuck in cow dung, continued to shake his head in regret. If I like it, even if it's cow dung, I'm willing to do it. Feng Jiao rebutted with a light smile. The one who doesn't want to say it doesn't mean it, the listener means it. After Murong Chapterong heard this, he shot a curious glance at Feng Jiao. Is that so? Cow dung? And you are willing to do that? It was very obvious that Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin didn't understand her words. Feng Jiao smiled and nodded. Brother Crown Prince, I will take my leave first, we will talk later. Princess Lian Yen, do you need me to send you off? Seeing that she was about to leave, Murong Chapterong made a suggestion. W Captor stunned Feng Jiao for a moment, and took the initiative to send her off. All right, since the beautiful man had asked, how could she not give him a chapterance? Of course. Feng Jiao smiled and nodded. Thus, the two of them walked out of the Eastern Palace's Crown Prince's mansion one after another. Behind them were Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin's thoughtful gaze. What? The one you love has left? Are you out of your mind? Su Chapter, a sweet and harsh voice came from the Crown Prince's wife, Gu Exen. Exen, what are you thinking about? My heart has always been with you. After Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin heard this, his handsome eyebrows twitch-chaptered, but he still smiled. He extended his hand out and embraced Gu Exen. Is that so? Then, when Princess Lian Yin left just now, why did you seem to be a little nostalgic? Gu Exener sneered. She was carefully observing him. Princess Lian Yin is the #1 beauty of Nanshao. As a man, I want to admire her. Exener, stop making wild guesses. My heart is filled with you, others cannot continue acting. Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin embraced her as her beautiful, thin lips gently nibbled at Gu Exener's earlobes. As she breathed in the warm air, the white pigeon that made Gu Exener's face red trembled as it thought to herself, this crown prince is Su Chapter, an expert in love. She was really almost tricked by his sweet words. Remember, Gu Exener, have always been the husband's fate. You must not eat in a bowl, and look at the pot in front of you. Gu Exener scolded him arrogantly. Understood, Exener, if you tell me to head west, I definitely won't head east. Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin lowered his eyes, concealing the deep disgust in his eyes. He couldn't help but to think of how she was so gentle to him, and how the little girl, Feng Jilin, could read the entire text. It seemed like he had not loved Feng Jilin for 3 days. However, Gu Exener's words made him miss Feng Jilin's gentleness, as well as her wonderful lady skills. What are you thinking? But thinking about other women? Gu Exener leaned towards Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin, and asked suspiciously, as a sinister look flashed past her eyes. No. Other than you, who else could I miss? Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin said this while hugging Gu Exen. His big hands slightly exerted force, and pulled out a red smoke river belt from her waist. Your Highness the Crown Prince. Gu Exener's body was very sensitive. After his big hands two-chaptered her, she felt that she was going to die from discomfort. You should say that you like it, Exe. Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin endured the disgust in his heart, picked her up, and ran towards the morning light palace. Your Highness the Crown Prince. Where did people take a mandarin duck bath in broad daylight? Gu Exener was a little embarrassed by the looks from the crowd. Although she really enjoyed being hugged so tightly by Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin, she still blushed and blushed. Yeah, could it be that Exener doesn't like me to pamper you in the daming pool? Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin laughed coldly, and secretly scolded the woman who did not share his thoughts. If it wasn't for the sake of patience, he would not bother with a woman like her, who was like a scorpion. Crown Prince, her soft and tender voice ignited the flames of desire in Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin's heart. In that case, Exener is very willing. Ha! Xin Yuan Hao Chapterin laughed out loud. Crown Prince. Gu Exener lowered her eyes slightly, and her gentle voice sounded, full of tender desire. Very quickly, the man's boorish voice and the woman's voice sounded from within the daming pool. The voice was clear, and all the servantess that heard it spat out nosebleed and blushed. It was an extremely spectacular sight. As for Feng Jiao and Murong Chapterong, they had both walked out of the Eastern Palace's Crown Prince's residence together. Murong Chapter, shall I go back in the carriage? What about you? Seeing that he was not riding the horse that had saved her yesterday, Feng Jiao asked. On foot. Murong Chapterong said, but he did not look at Feng Jiao, but at Feng Jiao's carriage. Walking? Oh, then where are you going? Why don't I get my driver to drive you? Feng Jiao asked him. No need. After he finished speaking, Murong Chapterong gently shook her sleeves and gracefully walked away. Feng Jiao looked at his back and said angrily, Weirdo. After that, Feng Jiao gloomily sat on the carriage. Princess, are you unhappy? Seeing Feng Jiao's serious expression, Wan Sanzi asked in concern. Yeah. That Murong Chapterong is so hard to deal with? Feng Jiao replied upon hearing Wan Sanzi's question. Princess, are you returning to the Prime Minister's mansion now? Or somewhere else? Wan Sanzi asked. Let's go see the young master that I saved. I'll help him chapter-arrange his medicine while I'm at it. When we get past the medicine store later, let's go buy some golden sore medicine, maybe he'll use it later. Feng Jiao thought about Mo Ranbai's injuries and advised him. All right, rest assured, princess. Wan Sanzi nodded. Halfway through, Wan Sanzi stopped to buy the gold sore medicine, while Feng Jiao lazily leaned on the side of the carriage, her head turned to look at a book. Princess, I've bought it. Wan Sanzi then placed the gold sore medicine in Feng Jiao's carriage, and then turned to drive the carriage. When they arrived at the inn where Mo Ranbai was originally settled in, Feng Jiao ordered Wan Sanzi to wait for him at the entrance of the alley while she went over to the small inn to meet Mo Ranbai. Unexpectedly, she called for a long time, causing Mo Ranbai to come in, dressed in white. Brother Ranbai, what kind of shameful things did you do in the house? Why did you open the door so late? Feng Jiao laughed and teased. Unexpectedly, Mo Ranbai blushed. Strange, too strange. Mo Ranbai could actually blush when she opened the door? Could it be that a beautiful lady was hidden inside? How can that be? There was actually someone who got it first? Hey, Brother Ranbai, I've been here for so long, why don't you invite me in to take a seat? Feng Jiao looked around at the people behind him and thought, why is there no one here? Was Mo Ranbai really hiding that girl well? Speak here. Mo Ranbai shook her head, her face still red. Brother Ranbai, could it be that you are hiding a beautiful lady inside? Feng Jiao covered her mouth and laughed. Jiao, don't talk nonsense. Mo Ranbai frowned, and could not help but shout at her. Just that when he was shouting, Feng Jiao had already entered the house in a blur. She looked around but did not see Mei Jiao. There's no beauty? Feng Jiao muttered. What do you think? This was the first time, other than Mo Ranbai's bland tone of voice, that he had coldly snorted. It could be seen that he was truly angry. Brother Ranbai, don't be angry, I didn't do it on purpose. Who told you not to tell me yourself? You're being so secretive, that's why I made Su chapter wild guesses, ha. Feng Jiao laughed dryly twice, thinking that curiosity would indeed kill a cat. Who knew how many times she had been ravaged by his cold gaze? Have you seen enough? Mo Ranbai turned his head away, not looking at her. Unexpectedly, Feng Jiao's gaze turned and landed on his bed. Ah, I know why you're blushing. Feng Jiao chapteruckled to him softly, but it made Mo Ranbai's hair stand on end. Why are you blushing? Mo Ranbai spoke back like a parrot. You're the one who asked me? I didn't ask. With that, Feng Jiao snickered, with an ambiguous smile on her face. Mo Ranbai was bad with his words, but he had been tricked by the cunning Feng Jiao. Brother Ranbai, what's this? Feng Jiao pointed to his messy bed with a circle of wet marks on it. This? Mo Ranbai's face became even redder, and he started to mutter incoherently as he lowered his head, not daring to look at the bright and beautiful smiling face of the woman in front of him. What is this? Feng Jiao settled down on his bed and pointed at the marks and asked. Jiao, Mo Ranbai randomly put on the moon-white brocade gown, and when he wanted to go out, Feng Jiao suddenly grabbed him from behind. Brother Ranbai, this is actually quite normal. Adults are always like this in the morning. You just need more, that's why. Of course, there are plenty of them. I can help you treat them. Feng Jiao felt that the chaptrance to beat him down had come, so she smiled at him sweetly, with her eyebrows furrowed slightly. Can you really treat me? Mo Ranbai turned and struggled free from her grasp, then stared at her beautiful face with shining eyes, but in his heart he still did not believe her. Of course, you have to trust me. Do you want those Mongolian doctors to look at this hidden disease for you? Feng Jiao let out a light sigh, then looked at him with a gaze filled with a trace of pity. Is this a hidden disease? Mo Ranbai did not quite believe it, but he really could not lose face and went to find a famous doctor or a divine doctor. Well, just a little. I wonder if you want me to cure you? Brother Ranbai, I know, we are man and woman. If you care, I won't help you treat it. I will help you arrange the medicine on your arm, then I will leave this in. Feng Jiao lowered her eyes to look at the surface of her shoes, and said gently, Ji Yao, you aren't lying to me, right? How can a girl like you treat my hidden ailment? Even though he really didn't want to admit it was a hidden disease, he felt extremely uncomfortable early in the morning. He had even been thinking about that day when she had cast a sex drug down on Su Mayan in the Jade Lake restaurant, and when he slept last night, he actually fantasized that the woman he was pressing down on was Feng Jiao. Just then she knocked on the door. Chapter made her realize his embarrassment. If you trust me, I can treat you. Brother Ranbai, unless you do not wish to be treated by me. Feng Jiao raised her head to look at him, her smile clear and moving. Can you really cure that? Mo Ranbai held a doubtful attitude, so he asked for confirmation once more. Of course, did I lie to you? Feng Jiao gave him a pure smile, but that smile made Mo Ranbai feel that Feng Jiao's motive was not pure. That's a possibility. Mo Ranbai raised his eyebrows. He was suspicious, especially suspicious. Is that so? Brother Ranbai, you are a despicable person. Feng Jiao rolled her eyes at him and said, What? When did he, Mo Ranbai, become friends with this lowly person? A certain someone has the heart of a tyrant. Feng Jiao said while sneering, Jiao, then what kind of medicinal herb are you going to use to treat me? Mo Ranbai did not believe that she knew any medical skills. Of course I have my side. Only my side will be able to make your return to normal the amount of man. Anyway, now that you're safe, I can definitely cure your illness. Feng Jiao's face did not turn red from what she said. But because of this, Mo Ranbai started to believe in her, although he still had some doubts. Brother Ranbai, come over. Feng Jiao gracefully stroked the few strands of black hair in front of her forehead, and then slowly sat down, and said while smiling, Jiao, why did you call me over? Mo Ranbai had a strange intuition, but he unconsciously walked over, maintaining a 3-inch chapter distance between them. Brother Ranbai, come on, let's sit down together. I'll treat you well. Feng Jiao chaptered out her fair hands and saw that he was still in a daze. She simply took the initiative to take his big hand and let his big hand wrap around her small hand as they sat down next to chapter other. Jia, don't get so close. He hastily shook her hand away. It's not very close. Feng Jiao muttered to himself, thinking that she must work harder. What a beautiful man Mo Ranbai was. If it just so happened that his arm was injured, would she be able to use force on him? It was so beautiful. He had a fresh and intoxicating beauty about him. With that in mind, the men's warnings to her were quickly thrown away. Feng Jiao raised her chapter-arming face and looked at him. Brother Ranbai, where is your other hand? Here. What do you want my hand for? When Mo Ranbai saw her burning expression of wanting to swallow him in one gulp once again, he didn't feel disgust nor did he feel fear. Naturally, it is the first step to start the healing process for you. Feng Jiao said in a serious manner. Chapter really made Mo Ranbai trust him a little. Feng Jiao lovingly pretended to massage the back of his hand, then smiled and pushed him onto the bed, where the absolute dragon lay. Jia, what are you doing? Mo Ranbai definitely had a reason to ask Su Chapter a question. This was the first time he had met Su Chapter, a strange girl. She actually sat on top of him without any shame. Point your acupoints and swallow them alive. Feng Jiao laughed evilly. Ah, you. Mo Ranbai was unlucky and had been struck by Feng Jiao's acupoint. Feng Jiao laughed. In the past, it was always him who got points from the beautiful guy, but today, with her turning over to become his master, she also got points from the beautiful guy, making him unable to move. Brother Ranbai, don't look at me like that, I'm here to treat you really. Seeing that he could not speak, she knew that she had struck his main acupoint. She could neither move nor speak. Mo Ranbai looked at her suspiciously, only to see that she had already taken off her clothes. Of course, Mo Ranbai had also taken off his clothes completely. When Mo Ranbai saw her naked body, his handsome face immediately flushed red. Then, he saw that his clothes were also stripped naked by her. He was shocked in his heart. It even pierced through his acupoints. Mo Ranbai laughed in his heart. Were his acupoints that good? He wanted to see what tricks she could play. Therefore, Feng Jiao did not see any sort of angry expression in Mo Ranbai's eyes, and instead, saw some amusement and probing within them. No matter what, this woman was too shameless. She had taken the initiative to give Su Mayan the sex drug, and now that she had taken the initiative to point his acupoints, it was obvious that she was going to force him into a corner. No, the coquettish woman in front of him was Su Mayan's woman. How could he take away someone else's love? Thinking about that, Mo Ranbai immediately used all his might to break through the acupoint Feng Jiao gave him, waving his hand to slap her. Shameless woman! Mo Ranbai slapped her and scolded angrily. He then quickly took off his clothes and wore it, while cursing at her. Yes, I am shameless. Am I not treating you? Fuck, you think too much chapter of being kind. Feng Jiao was enraged. His martial arts were actually so high, she could only blame herself for not being able to master the T-chapter technique. Never mind, if she could not eat him this time, she could eat him next time. She was the most perfect and indestructible cockroach chapter. Is this a treatment? Strip naked in front of my eyes. If it was another man, he would have raped you long ago. Fortunately, I am an upright person, and as the saying goes, friends and wives are not to be trifled with. You are my good friend Su Mayan's fiancé. How can I possibly do Su chapter a thing with you? You look like a flower and jade, with Su chapter a symbol. You're actually so lowly, seducing your fiancé's good friend. You're really too shameless. Mo Ranbai had never known that he was Su chapter a good talker, yet this was the first time he had consecutively spoken Su chapter a long sentence without pausing. Fuck, it's fine if you said she didn't care about her face. He said it a second time. This was bullying. Mo Ranbai, don't be so shameless with just your words, or with your own words. Who do you think you are? Do you think you're a willow? Are you in a hurry? Who are you lying to? I just teased you there, and you're already a pillar in the sky. How can you still have the face to say Su chapter words to me? You're the most shameless bad guy. Feng Jiao was so angry, and this was the first time he wanted to kick him. Scram! Get the hell out of here. Mo Ranbai got angry from being scolded by her, especially his handsome face. W chapter had a suspicious blush. W chapter made him think back to the restricted level image in his mind. He really felt that he himself was a bit shameless. Get lost? If you want to scram, you're the one scram. I was the one who told my driver to pay the money to stay in this inn. So if you want to scram, it's naturally you that should scram. Feng Jiao sneered a few times as she slowly dressed himself. You only paid me for 1 day, this is the second day, the second day's worth of silver was paid by me. If you want to scram, then you will have to scram. Please. Mo Ranbai pointed towards the door and especially opened the door for her. It was just that he did not expect it to be raining so soon due to the sudden rumbling of thunder outside. Mo Ranbai thought that if it was a normal person, he would naturally not chapter-ace her away. It was just that this girl's thoughts were not simple. She kept on wanting to throw herself at him. Therefore, even if there were thunder and lightning outside, he still wanted to drive her away. Mo Ranbai, do you have any sympathy for this man? Thunder and lightning outside, are you not afraid that I will be struck to death by lightning if you chapter-ace me away now? Feng Jiao raised her head to look at the dark cloudy sky, and her small face immediately darkened to a terrifying extent. It's fine if you're hacked to death, fuck off. Mo Ranbai pointed outside the door, as if you were not going to scram now, I would throw you out. Humph. Feng Jiao was so angry that she wanted to wave her fist at his handsome face, but she endured it. She should have been merciful towards a pretty boy, because she saw his good figure and size just now. Oh, why was she in chapter pain? So unlucky. She was actually unable to do anything to the beautiful man, and was even forced to be driven away by the beautiful man. All right, as you wish. After Feng Jiao finished speaking, her eyes were filled with tears. She held her skirt up and slowly walked down the stairs, her figure slowly disappearing into the dense rain curtain. Looking at her delicate and two-chaptering back view, Emo Ranbai's heart actually started to a-chapter for some reason. After the sounds of thunder and lightning, it was pouring rain. The rain came crashing down, and the intensity of the rain increased. Of course, Emo Ranbai's heart slowly tightened. Crap, she doesn't have an umbrella. If we go back now, wouldn't she chapter wind of the cold? Although she was at fault, she was so good that she was his good friend Su Mayan's fiancée. No matter what, he should take care of her. After thinking about it, Emo Ranbai immediately asked the owner of the inn to borrow an umbrella, and quickly flew out in the direction that Feng Jiao had just walked in. Jiao, Jiao, Jiao. Emo Ranbai saw that there was no one else in the empty alley, and he became even more worried. Under Su chapter a heavy rain, where could she go? Did they get taken away by bad people? When Feng Jiao heard her shout, she got on the carriage and immediately ordered the driver, Wan Sanzi, to leave first. She immediately jumped off the carriage, curled up in a corner, and started to chapterim for the beautiful guy. Jiao, 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 where are you? Emo Ranbai shouted until his voice was hoarse. When he inadvertently looked back and saw the wet-clothed lady curled up at the corner of the alley entrance, his reason crumbled in an instant. His heart suddenly clenchaptered painfully. Of course he regretted it very much. Why did he cruelly chapterace her away? Actually, he could just let her rest in his room, and then he could just ask for a room from the shopkeeper. How could he treat a weak girl like this? Jiao, Jiao, you woke up? Emo Ranbai hugged Feng Jiao and pressed her forehead against hers. Damn it, how could her forehead be so hot? Feng Jiao scolded herself secretly. In order to make it look real, she had truly bathed. This time, the aftereffects of the rain from her original body last time were healed all of a sudden, and her body was extremely weak. Seems like she had been tormented by her this time. She felt herself grow more and more drowsy, and her mouth was dry. She really wanted to drink water. Water. Water, Feng Jiao called out in a daze. Emo Ranbai hugged her with one hand and held onto the umbrella with the other as he quickly stepped through the rain, heading towards the little tavern. Young Master Emo, what happened to your wife? Is he sick? Her face looks pale. The shopkeeper looked up and glanced at Feng Jiao, and said with concern, Shopkeeper, please get me a bucket of hot water. I'm going to help me. Madam, she's taking a bath. Emo Ranbai was afraid that the shopkeeper would be suspicious, hence he went along with what he said. Sure, that's no problem, waiter, quickly send this young Master Emo a bucket of hot water for her bath. The shopkeeper instructed the waiter with a face full of smiles. Emo Ranbai originally wanted to call a doctor to take a look, but remembering that he was currently being looked for by the Imperial Guards, it was not easy for him to get into trouble. He stopped himself from thinking of asking a doctor. When the waiter came back with hot water, Emo Ranbai instructed him to get the kitchaptron to prepare a bowl of ginger soup. Jiao, wake up. Jiao, wake up. Can you still bathe by yourself? Emo Ranbai lifted his hand and two-chaptered her forehead. It was still very hot, and if he two-chaptered her whole body again, it would also be very hot. Jiao, I'm helping you bathe with my eyes closed. If you don't agree, you can shake your head or just snort. Emo Ranbai felt like his head was spinning. This was the first time he could speak to a girl like this. Coincidentally, the waiter's knocking on the door sounded out. Young Master Emo, this is the ginger soup you wanted. Second brother, she's my fiancée. It's not convenient for me to help her bathe. You have an aunt here, so I can pay her silver and ask her to help bathe my fiancée. Emo Ranbai hesitated, but he still decided to explain the situation to the waiter. "Auntie. Originally we did, but that auntie didn't come to our inn today because she had some business to attend to, so our inn is now full of men. Oh right, since she's your fiancée, it's only right that you bathe her. You'll eventually marry her." The waiter shook his head and said. Then he remembered that the girl in the room was this person's fiancée, so he hurriedly suggested. "This? Sorry for the trouble." Mo ran by sighed. He was wrong about his fiancée's words. If she really was his fiancée, why would he hesitate? After the waiter had left, Mo ran by called for Feng Jiao in a hurry. However, she did not make any sound, and was still unconscious. Mo ran by blamed himself in his heart. It was because he did not have a conscience that caused the other party to catch a cold from the rain, and was even burning up now. Therefore, Mo ran by closed his eyes and thought about it. Since he had already seen her body, according to custom, he should be responsible for her. When Su Mian returned, he would go and ask for punishment. He was a man who could support the heavens and earth, upright and upright. Since he had seen her body, and her small hand had two-chaptered his man part, although he was angry, he was at fault for this matter as well. He should have stopped her long before she took off her clothes, but it was his curiosity that led to this. Mo ran by opened his eyes once again, a resolute look flashing past his eyes, and a man's sense of responsibility rose up in his heart. After Mo ran by slowly drank the ginger soup, he aimed at Feng Jiao's red lips and slowly brought it into Feng Jiao's mouth. After he finished feeding Feng Jiao, he closed his eyes and took off Feng Jiao's wet clothes. When he thought about it later, he had already decided to take responsibility for her, so what was the use in closing his eyes? Therefore, he simply opened his eyes and placed her inside the water vapor. Within the ripples of the water, Feng Jiao's white and tender, enchantring body was revealed, causing his blood to boil. Those limitless, restricted images filled his mind once again, causing his handsome, jade-like, carved face to once again be dyed crimson. No, he couldn't look any further. He would be unable to hold it in, especially when he thought of how she had seduced him earlier. No, he could not think any more, so he closed his eyes again and pressed down on the lines of her skin, bathing her in a moon-white silk cloth. After washing herself for about an hour, he finally carried her out of the red bath barrel with his will. Mo Ranbai's forehead was drenched in beads of sweat, the water on her wet hair dripped onto his clothes, the slight warmth quickly flowed through his body, and the re-chapter heat feeling coursed through his body made a ruckus. He had to admit that this was an absolutely infuriating spirit. Perhaps it was because he was bathed, but Feng Jiao's entire body was permeated with a layer of pink. Mo Ranbai looked at the unconscious Feng Jiao and sighed. He once again extended his hand to her forehead. Crap, it was still very hot. Thus, he called the waiter over to get some cold water in order to help Feng Jiao cool her forehead down. Perhaps the cooling of the cold water had an effect. Feng Jiao slowly opened her eyes, but she was completely weak, and seemed to have replied, "The disease comes like a landslide, the disease goes like a thread." This time she lost a lot. The pretty boy did not eat it, but instead made herself sick. "Jiao, you're awake?" Mo Ranbai asked with a tone that was neither salty nor indifferent, and contained a bit of concern within. It actually caused Feng Jiao to be greatly shocked. Since when did he treat her so well? Yes. Feng Jiao moved her body, but she still felt weak throughout her body. She rolled over and looked at the drizzling rain outside the window. "Jiao, wait a moment, I'll get the waiter to buy you another set of clothes." Mo Ranbai frowned and apologized as he saw her gorgeous clothes hanging on the screen. "What happened to my clothes?" Feng Jiao was confused. Suddenly, she realized that she was lying on the bed naked, with a blanket covering her entire body. Did you do anything bad to her? Then why couldn't she feel the chapter of her love? Strange, why would he take off his clothes? The reason why I took off your clothes earlier was to help you bathe so that you wouldn't catch a cold. Mo Ranbai slowly stood up, paced back and forth, and then said to Feng Jiao in a conflicted tone, "What? Did you take off my clothes? You are the one who is as shameless as you said just now." Feng Jiao immediately returned the insult he gave her earlier, that she was shameless. Sure enough, they were friends. Back then, Su Mayan had also scolded her that she was shameless, but in the end she was still obediently captured by her, and she was the one who did it willingly. Jiao, I was shameless, so when I took off your clothes, I made up my mind. I looked at your body. I will be responsible for you. When Mo Ranbai heard her say that he was shameless, his face became red and he said incoherently. At this moment, he felt like he was chapter racing a duck to a grave. When Feng Jiao heard this, her beautiful eyes widened. She wanted to be like a bird in a mess in the wind. No, she felt that she must have lost her mind and could hear things from her ears. He had told her to scram before, but now he said he was responsible? Had he gone mad, or had he taken her on? I will be responsible for you. Feng Jiao asked Mo Ranbai once again with uncertainty. You're responsible for me? Yes, Jiao, I have decided. I will be responsible for you. I just saw your body, so... Mo Ranbai braced himself and said, with the imposing manner of someone bravely preparing to die. No, I don't need you to take responsibility. Feng Jiao was a fool when she heard about this. However, this also proved that the men of the ancient times were very responsible. Towards this, she shook her head. She did not have that intention. But I looked at your body. Mo Ranbai was so surprised that his mouth could not close. He wanted to take responsibility, but the other party did not want him to take responsibility. There's nothing going on between you and me. Look, the rain outside has stopped. It's time for me to go back to the Prime Minister's mansion. Feng Jiao weakly shook her arms, signaling Mo Ranbai to help her up. All right, then I'll send you back. Mo Ranbai saw that she was sick, so he decided to believe in her. No need, I can go back by myself. Feng Jiao sat up with his support and said indifferently, Jiao, that... Just now, Mo Ranbai was still stubborn. He believed that since he had seen the girl's body, he should always be responsible for her as a responsible man. Stop, you're not allowed to bring this up again. Just pretend that you've never seen my body before. TSK, her body was bound by a marriage contract. She wasn't an idiot, and fortunately, she hadn't eaten him yet. Otherwise, she would have ended her days of being single. Feng Jiao, I have feelings for you. When Mo Ranbai saw that she was about to leave, she did not know why she said those words, but her body froze. Why did he say those words at that moment? She's sick now and she can't do it. She's just a poor chapdrilled. After he finished speaking, Jun Emosie's face was as red as a boiling crab. Who was the one who slapped me just now? Who told me to scram just now? Who was that person? You're telling me? Feng Jiao was very angry and pointed at his nose and roared. Fuck, what's the use of talking about it now? It's me. How about this? If I let you slap me too, just lie here and let me get out of here, okay? Mo Ranbai also felt that he had gone too far. No need, let me go. Although she didn't have any strength, she still slowly got up. Unexpectedly, she was too weak and fell down. Jiao, your temperature has risen again. If you go back now, I won't be able to rest easy. Mo Ranbai hugged her tightly. Separated by a thin layer of cloth, he could feel the scorch-chaptering sensation on her body. Let me go back. Feng Jiao still wanted to return. She wanted to stay here, but she didn't have the strength to eat him, so there was no meaning in just standing there and staring at him. No, wait until you're better before you go back. Be obedient. Mo Ranbai hugged her tightly, only that her light struggle allowed a bit of scorch-chaptering flame of lust to burn inside his body, flowing into his organs, limbs, and bones. Mo Ranbai, I really want to know, why did you reject me just now? Is it because of Su Mayan? Feng Jiao laid on Mo Ranbai's shoulder with her head down, her two long slender arms wrapped around his neck. Following that, she placed a comfortable position. She asked curiously when she remembered how he had been so resistant to her. Yes, but not really. Mo Ranbai said as he smelled the fragrance from her long hair, his handsome face at a loss. But I just want to know the answer. In the modern world, Meishi could basically get all the men he wanted. But now, in the ancient times, there were actually beautiful men who ignored her. How could she endure this? You are a bold woman. You are so bold that you took the initiative to seduce men, and even give sex drug to men. Mo Ranbai sighed. After all, it was a mistake for a woman to be too bold. Why did you say just now that you had feelings for me? Feng Jiao seemed to want to ask until the end. Beautiful cooking. Mo Ranbai thought that his stoma chapter had been spoiled by her half of a roasted chaptrican, so when he ate the other dishes, they did not taste anything at all. It turns out he didn't really love her. She thought she was sentimental. Forget it, the forcefully twisted Meliner was not sweet. She should have given up on the idea of pouncing on him, but thinking that Mo Ranbai's body was extremely good, if she could get along with him by even a moment, that would be exceptionally pleasurable. However, her body was currently not in a good condition, and the rain was burning down. After Feng Jiao thought about this, she fell asleep. Mo Ranbai carefully placed a cold and wet handcure chapterif on her forehead. In the time it took to make a cup of tea, he would chapter-arrange it every time. Finally, another 4 hours passed and Feng Jiao woke up. Compared to the previous time, her complexion was chapter better. As soon as she got up and dressed, she wanted to go home. Mo Ranbai did not stop her, he only persisted his suggestion, and said that he wanted to carry her back. Feng Jiao thought that with her frail body, it would be good if he could carry her back. In any case, with his current disguise, he shouldn't be recognized. Just as she arrived at the entrance of the Prime Minister's mansion, she saw a tall figure. The owner of the figure was actually Su Mayan. Brother Mayan, when did you come back? Feng Jiao hurriedly climbed down from Mo Ranbai's back. Therefore, she quickly ran over and threw herself into his embrace, causing Su Mayan's lips to curl into a happy smile. I've just returned, I've traveled day and night. I've finally seen you. I wanted to go in and see you, but I didn't expect to see you at the door. But who is this man? Su Mayan looked at Mo Ranbai, who had chapter-arranged his appearance, and asked. However, he kept feeling that the body of the man carrying Yaoer on his back was extremely familiar, just that he didn't dare to confirm whether it was really him or not. You know him too, he is Brother Ranbai. Feng Jiao said in a bland voice. What happened just now was insignificant anyway, so there was no need for her to be afraid and not dare to tell Su Mayan. Brother Mo, is that you? Why are you here in the Xianyang again? Upon hearing that Feng Jiao was talking about him, he was immediately shocked. He remembered that Mo Ranbai had left the Xianyang with him, but he did not know when Mo Ranbai had returned. It's a private matter, Mo Ranbai said, but when his gaze fell upon Su Mayan hugging Feng Jiao's slender waist, the damnable jealousy in his heart was extremely jealous, and he was extremely jealous. He also did not know what was going on with himself. He actually wanted to pry them apart. Brother Ranbai, we are in the Prime Minister's mansion, and it is currently dinner time. Do you want to go to my begonia garden to taste some delicacies? Feng Jiao asked politely with a faint smile on his face. He was not as enthusiastic as when he first met her, but instead he acted a little perfunctory, causing Mo Ranbai's heart to feel as though it was pierced by needles. No need, I have something to do, so I'll take my leave first. Mo Ranbai and Su Mayan cupped their hands together and turned to leave. Before he left, he did not dare to look back at Feng Jiao. He was afraid that if he looked at her a few more times, he wouldn't be able to bear to leave. Mo Ranbai was a little disappointed. Surprisingly, Feng Jiao didn't have the slightest intention to keep him here, as the luster in his eyes dimmed. With a tap of his toes, he left the main entrance of the Prime Minister's mansion. Yaoer, why did Brother Mo carry you back? Su Mayan felt that there was something strange between the two of them, but he could not casually guess that Feng Jiao was disgusted by their conversation, so he could only ask cleverly. Brother Mayan, I'm tired. Can you carry me into the house? Feng Jiao asked as she raised her head to look at Su Mayan. Fine, I haven't seen you for days. I wonder if you're doing well? Su Mayan lifted his hand and caressed her hair and hugged her tightly. Su Mayan thought that it would be good if he could hug her like this. He had to find his uncle to meet that pockmarked beggar. He was willing to give that pockmarked beggar a lot of money, and hoped that he would give up on marrying Feng Jiao. It was because in the few days he was in Xiliang Kingdom, all he could think about was this little girl. The reason he was rushing back so desperately was so that he could see her again as soon as possible. "Brother Mayan, are you crying?" Feng Jiao caught a glimpse of the sparkling and translucent water in his eyes, causing her to ask in surprise. "I'm too excited, I haven't seen you in a long time, worried that you didn't sleep well, didn't eat well, worried about this, worried about that. At that time, I really wanted to grow a pair of wings and fly back." Su Mayan only felt that his love for her had already become a disaster. "Didn't you see me?" For a grown man to shed tears so unsightly, if others were to see it, wouldn't you feel embarrassed? Feng Jiao covered her mouth and laughed, but her heart was full of sweetness. "I don't think it's ugly. In this lifetime, only you, a woman, will make me shed tears," Su Mayan said as he carried her. Under the stunned gaze of the Prime Minister's mansion, he carried Feng Jiao and walked straight in. "Brother Mayan, did you remember to bring me a present when you go to Xiliang Kingdom this time?" Feng Jiao asked with a smile. "Of course I did. I'm just afraid that I might find you undesirable." Su Mayan lowered his head and looked at her beautiful face lovingly. "Su Mayan, why did you return with my little sister Yaoer? Why are you still holding him? Do you know that men and women shouldn't be too intimate with each other?" The one who spoke in anger was Feng Sai's. He was coincidentally walking around with a birdcage in his hands. When he saw Feng Jiao being hugged by a man, he said unhappily, "Brother Sai's, I was the one who asked him to hug me. My condition isn't too good today, and I'm a little tired, that's why I'm like this." Feng Jiao slowly explained as she felt sorry for Su Mayan. "Yao, didn't you just say a few words to him? Why do you feel sorry for him? Could it be that you want to marry Su Mayan instead of the pockmarked beggar?" Feng Sai's felt that the possibility of them looking at each other with Su deep emotions was very high. "Ugh, don't speak nonsense. There is no Su thing." Feng Jiao shook her head lightly. Wasn't she hugged by Su Mayan just now? He was just spouting nonsense like that. As a result, he glared at Feng Sai's unhappily. "Yaoer, let's go to Begonia Garden to talk." Su Mayan did not take Feng Sai's words to heart, and only looked down at Feng Jiao and asked, "Yes." Feng Jiao nodded in agreement. Unexpectedly, Feng Sai's also followed along. "Wait, Yaoer, didn't you go to the palace to talk to Liner? How did you come back with Mayan?" Feng Wucai walked over from behind them. He was dressed in a black robe with delicate contours, looking dignified and graceful. It was obvious that when he was young, he was naturally extraordinary and elegant. "Father, it's just a coincidence that we met." "Oh right, I can't persuade her. How about you let the ant-boy go into the palace on his own to persuade her stubborn daughter? I don't want to be involved in that mess." Feng Jiao shook her head. "All right, Yaoer, you go back to the Begonia Garden first. I have something to talk to Mayan about. Sais, you should also do what you want, stop teasing that stupid bird." When Feng Wucai saw how gently Su Mayan had put Feng Jiao down on the ground, he was still very pleased in his heart. But when he thought about how many outstanding men wanted to marry Yaoer the day she threw the ball, it gave him a huge hiata chapter. Feng Sais naturally followed Feng Jiao to the Begonia Garden. "Brother Sais, what makes father think that the parrot in your cage is stupid?" Feng Jiao instructed a servant girl who was sweeping the road to carry her back to the Begonia Garden. Along the way, she and Feng Sais chattered about the bird curiously. "Sai, this bird doesn't know how to speak, so Daddy called it a stupid bird." Feng Sais sighed. He had spent 1,000 taels of silver to buy a silly bird. He was regretting it. AI, he sighed several times. "Yaoer, I'm sighing because I'm regretting buying this stupid bird." "Why are you sighing so much?" Feng Sais laughed. "Tisk, it's that stupid bird of yours that started talking just like you. Besides, is my voice really that bad?" Feng Jiao rolled her eyes at him. Tisk. Naturally, it was that parrot again. I'm dying of laughter. Dad was right, it's just a stupid bird," Feng Jiao laughed. Stop slicing, it's not like you can cut vegetables, shut up. Feng Sais patted the bird cage and roared. Eldest young master, why are you fighting with a stupid bird? Ziyun could already hear from afar that Feng Sais was lecturing the parrot, so she also laughed when she heard it. Ziyun, the dinner is a bit light, I'm not feeling too well today. Feng Jiao explained to Ziyun. Mind your own business, young master. Feng Sais glanced at Ziyun, and then walked into the house with Feng Jiao, and sat down to drink their tea. Brother Sais, does father suspect you? It's about that pockmarked beggar? Feng Jiao asked softly. However, Yao, you are really something. Back then there were so many outstanding men, why didn't you pick one out from the group? I feel that other than Su Mayan, the others are not bad. Feng Sais laughed. Brother Sais, I am a princess now. I am more than enough to suit them. Feng Jiao pouted and ridiculed. No matter how the ancient people went, they would always pay attention to Su chapter a thing. Okay, you're a princess, but maybe you're a princess. Feng Sais remembered that there was a commotion happening amongst the different races at the border recently, so he tried to scare her. Come on, who wants me to go on a marriage alliance? Who's going to suffer for the rest of my life? Feng Jiao picked up the teacup and gulped the fragrant tea down in one gulp. Oh right, Brother Sais, why did you say that father wanted to talk to Su Mayan alone? Feng Jiao couldn't understand, why did he have to avoid her and Feng Sais? Was it hard to say in front of them? Su Mayan had followed Feng Wucai to the Nian study. After the servant served Su Mayan some tea, she turned around and left. Uncle, what do you need to see this nephew alone for? Su Mayan gracefully asked as he held the white jade teacup in his hand. His slender fingers caressed the rim of the cup as a pensive look appeared in his eyes. I am afraid that the Feng family will be in trouble in the future. I hope you will do your best to protect Yao. If you are unable to wholeheartedly love her in the future, please find a suitable opportunity for her to leave and live the life that she has wanted, sighed Feng Wucai as he stroked his beard and paced around. Uncle, could it be that the old emperor wants to take action against the Feng clan? After Su Mayan heard this, he quickly stood up and asked. I was just guessing, although Liner is very favored in the palace, but I did not get any promotion. Recently some of my disciples were mysteriously assassinated or went insane. I just thought that something might have happened to the Feng family, and Yao's chapterild is the only promise I made to her mother. As for you, maybe you can give her a place to settle down. Don't think that I don't know, your uncle has still sent people to understand that you are the most suitable for her, so I hope that you can take her seriously. Uncle, even if you didn't say it this way, I would still have treated Yao very well. Take care of her for the rest of her life, and never leave her. Su Mayan said as he looked at Feng Wucai seriously. Alright, then I will entrust Yao to you. This is also my trust in you. Feng Wucai said sincerely as he raised his hand to heavily pat Su Mayan's shoulder. I know, I will love her, and chapterish her. Su Mayan promised solemnly. So it is. Then I am relieved. Feng Wucai nodded in satisfaction. But uncle, wasn't Yao engaged to that pockmarked beggar before? He questioned. Could it be that his uncle was prepared to allow Yao to break the agreement? The pockmarked beggar is nothing to fear, he will chapterus to leave. A bitter smile flashed past Feng Wucai's eyes. His son and daughter self-directed themselves to act out a good show. Did he not think that he would not investigate it in detail? Alright, then I'm relieved. Uncle, then you can be at ease and entrust Yao to me. Su Mayan looked at the osmanthus tree in front of the window and said resolutely, My wife will only be Yao. Very good, you went to the Xiliang kingdom and came back so quickly. Is Yao the main reason? Feng Wucai understood and asked. Yes, I came back night and day because I wanted to see her earlier. Speaking till here, Su Mayan's face actually turned red. Alright, let's go to the begonia garden. At this time, you just happened to be in time for the dinner there. As for the other few men, he had already carefully investigated them. If Yao married into the sect, Yao would need to settle too many matters here, but Yao was too lazy, so his family's relationship with Su Mayan was simple and shouldn't be too burdensome for Yao to handle. Alright, uncle, Then this nephew will take his leave. Su Mayan said his goodbyes and left. Feng Jiao saw that Su Mayan was standing at the entrance of the begonia garden. Brother Mayan, what did my father say to you? Why did you take so long? Feng Jiao asked with a smile. It's not anything important, so don't let your thoughts run wild. Oh right, is dinner ready? I haven't tasted your cooking in days. Su Mayan gently pulled her small hand, and they walked into the courtyard together. I only cooked one dish, the other dishes were all cooked by Zi Yun. Feng Jiao looked at the dishes on the table, and then thought of Yan Wuxia. Zi Yun, where's Yan Wuxia? Feng Jiao asked. Stay in the room. Zi Yun laughed. Yaoer, who is Yan Wuxia? Why does that name sound so familiar to me? After Su Mayan heard this name, a deep look flashed past his eyes. A bowl of shattered Yan Wuxia. The last time he wanted to kill me, he was subdued by me later on, and now he's following my orders. Feng Jiao smiled confidently. Yaoer, he is ranked first in the underworld. How can I listen to you? Su Mayan did not believe it. It's true. If you don't believe me, get him out. I'm telling him to head east. He definitely won't head west. Feng Jiao laughed complacently. Is this for real? Su Mayan stood with his hands behind his back, and the corner of his mouth hooked into a faint smile. Of course it's true. Feng Jiao really told Ziyun to call Yan Wuxia over. Feng Sai shook his head at the side and continued to play with the parrot in the bird cage. Yan Wuxia came out with his treasured sword in hand. His face was expressionless. Wuxia, come to big sister's side. Feng Jiao waved his hand towards Yan Wuxia. Elder sister. Yan Wuxia walked over and shouted. Su chapter, a chapterildish voice that could only be heard shocked Su Mayan. Yao? Yao? How did you do it? The mountaineers have their own brilliant plans. Feng Jiao smiled. Wuxia, let's eat together. Feng Jiao urged, but obediently followed along. Su Mayan was surprised. Yaoer, how mu chapter more do you have that I don't know about? Su Mayan asked with a smile. I won't tell you. Feng Jiao smiled mischapteriously, then beckoned for him to hurry up and eat the dishes. What kind of dish is this? It actually has the flavor of abalone? It's obviously not abalone, so strange. Su Mayan sighed. It's an abalone made from a vegetarian dish. This is replaced with a lentinous idoda. It's very tasty, so you should eat more. Amazing young brother. Feng Jiao smiled and took the initiative to serve him food. Yao, why are you only giving him food? Why aren't you giving me food? Feng Sai was jealous. This girl had a man but no brother. Zi Yun, cook for brother Sai's, cook for him. Feng Jiao glared at Feng Sai. Eat you to death. Come to the begonia garden every day to freeload to eat. Feng Jiao also prepared some dishes for Yan Wuxia. At the moment, Yan Wuxia was eating like a chapteriled, wolfing down his food, as if he hadn't eaten food in his past life. Zi Yun nodded and helped Feng Sai eat, but he did not have mu chapter of a smile on her face. Zi Yun, are you unwell? Feng Jiao asked in concern. No, I'm fine. Zi Yun smiled faintly. Zi Yun thought Feng Jiao had been good to her. If there came a day when she had done something that let her down, would she forgive herself? He was in the martial arts world, and he had no control over himself. Princess, you don't look too good. Do you want to send someone to the hospital to invite an imperial physician over to take a look? Zi Yun asked. It's fine. I'll be fine after I finish eating. Feng Jiao shook her head. Princess? How did you become a princess when I was out for a few days? Su Mayan put down his chaptripsticks, his face full of surprise. Princess Lianyan, personally conferred by the emperor, can be considered to have benefited from misfortune. Feng Jiao pursed her lips and laughed, thinking back to that day when Feng Jilin heard about the emperor bestowing her the title of princess. Her face was pale white, and she felt that she was in an extremely good mood. Yaoer, I have something to ask you. Under the gazes of everyone present, Su Mayan pulled Feng Jiao and walked towards a quiet place and asked. What is it? Feng Jiao asked. Your malady? Is it also fake? Su Mayan felt that this matter was extremely strange. If she really had any ill effects, his uncle would not entrust Yao'er's entire life to him. The only explanation was that Yao'er's illness was fake. Brother Mayan, you are really smart. Feng Zhiyao nodded. Yao'er, then do they know that your illness is fake? Su Mayan was naturally asking about Sidi Yele and the others. Not many people know about it. Feng Zhiyao thought about it and said, Yao'er, you don't look too good. I'll go back to the mighty heavenly castle first. After I go to sleep, my parents will definitely be worried. Su Mayan frowned. You should head back earlier. Looking at your exhausted face, isn't it that a lot of horses died on the way? Feng Zhiyao asked. There should be 5 or 6 of them, but for the sake of meeting you earlier, why would 5 or 6 horses die? It's just that my Yao'er is a little thinner. Su Mayan hugged her with eyes full of pain. It's better for a woman to be slim. Feng Zhiyao laughed as she retorted. Su Mayan shook her head lovingly. No matter how she chapter-arranged, she was still his most beloved girl. Yao, then I will go back first. Tomorrow or the day after, I will come and see you after I finish taking care of this matter. All right, this is the Shiliang rouge I bought for you. I wonder if you like it or not. Before leaving, Su Mayan passed the rouge inside the crystal box to Feng Zhiyao. The craftsmanship is very exquisite. I like it. Thank you, Brother Mayan. Feng Zhiyao was very happy that she received Su Chapter an exquisite gift. She stood up on her tiptoes and smacked her lips towards Su Mayan's face. A kiss made Su Mayan smile like a fool. Maybe this was the best gift he had for him to see her in the Xianyang, day and night. After Su Mayan left, Feng Zhiyao returned to the dining table, only to see that Feng Sais had already left. Ziyun was cleaning the tableware, and Yen Wuxia was playing with the dirt and stars. Seeing Su Chapter a chapterildish Yen Wuxia, Feng Zhiyao's lips twitch-chaptered a few times. Wuxia, wash your hands with big sister. Feng Zhiyao now felt that she looked like a nanny. Yen Wuxia threw away the great sword and took the initiative to give it to Feng Zhiyao, telling her to bring him to wash his hands. Only when he felt her soft hands on hers, he felt that he was very happy. He liked his sister pulling his hand. Wuxia, why are you looking at me like that? Feng Zhiyao was dumbstruck. How could he look at her like that? He actually laughed, and laughed so innocently, making her feel a little guilty. The killer with a good future had been turned into a 3-year-old fool by her. After Feng Zhiyao slept for a while, she felt her whole body feeling muchapter better. When she opened her eyes to look, Ziyun did not see her, but instead saw her. Yen Wuxia, how did you get into my room? Feng Zhiyao saw that Yen Wuxia was holding onto a book, and even had 2 pairs of eyes looking at her with electricity in his eyes, causing her small face to uncontrollably flush red. What's wrong with a 3-year-old with an IQ? How could he hold the sexual skill that she loved to read the most in his hands? Elder sister, why is your clothes transparent? Yen Wuxia blinked his very pure eyes and asked curiously. What's transparent? Feng Zhiyao was curious. Did she not wear transparent clothes? No, she was napping yesterday. Elder sister, why are you wearing transparent clothes? Yen Wuxia sat on the side of her bed and asked. Yen Wuxia, get out. Feng Zhiyao pulled up her quilt and shouted at him. Big sister, why is it that the ones on the book are all people who wear transparent clothes? Even Wuxia also wants to wear transparent clothes. Yen Wuxia mischapteriously showed Feng Zhiyao a page of the contents of the book. It was fine that Feng Zhiyao did not see it, but after seeing it, she was so angry that she almost spurted blood. How did he manage to flip over and chapter the valiant position of a man in a woman's position? Princess, are you up yet? Ziyun shouted from outside the door. Ziyun, quickly come in and take Yen Wuxia away. If you don't bring him down, I'll become a madman. Feng Zhiyao roared towards the door. Princess, what happened? Ziyun slowly opened the door and entered. She was also very curious. You princess, he's reading your sexual skill. Ziyun was shocked when she saw the book in Yen Wuxia's hands. Ziyun, how did he find them? I thought you hid it. Feng Jiao asked angrily. Princess, this servant, hid that book under your bed. This servant doesn't know how he found it. Ziyun's head was also big. What kind of killer was this? He was simply a troublemaker. What? Under the bed? Then, did he see how she slept naked last night? Princess, what's wrong? Ziyun looked at Yan Wuxia, then looked at him. No, take him away first. Feng Jiao instructed. Yes, princess. Ziyun immediately went up and coaxed Yan Wuxia out. Feng Jiao hurriedly got dressed and got up from the bed. She hid the sexual skill well before walking out of the room feeling relieved. Princess, young master when requests an audience. At the entrance of the begonia garden, the words of the little girl rang out. Let him in. Indeed, it had been a while since she last saw Wen Xingyuan, and no one knew what he had been busy with recently. Wen Xingyuan let out a huge sigh as he walked over in white clothes that were as white as snow. Amongst so many men wearing white clothes, it seemed as if only Wen Xingyuan looked a little more pleasing to the eye. Xingyun, you were looking for me? Feng Jiao was currently eating breakfast, milky white rice milk. And you have so many experts here. It would be too difficult to meet you at night. When Xingyuan looked around and sighed. Hee, this is my dad's masterpiece. Feng Jiao laughed. To be able to make it difficult for Wen Xingyuan, it meant that those death soldiers that father spoke of were very hardworking. Yao, looks like your father really loves you. When Xingyuan laughed bitterly, the Prime Minister Feng actually used death knights to guard the begonia garden. However, from another point of view, since he, Wen Xingyuan, could not enter the begonia garden late at night, then Sidu Yele and the others would definitely not be able to either. His attitude was a spirit that I could not eat, nor could anyone else. Yeah. Of course my dad dotes on me. Feng Jiao thought about how the Prime Minister Feng had protected her and she understood in her heart. However, why haven't you gotten to the point yet? After Ziyun served tea to Feng Jiao and the others, she left. It was just that Yan Wuxia appeared in front of Feng Jiao and Wen Xingyuan, blocking their way. Wuxia. Feng Jiao was confused. Why did Ziyun release him again? Sister, I want to wear transparent clothes as well. Yan Wuxia said something stupid that made Feng Jiao's face turn red. Yao, who is this person? Wen Xingyuan frowned. When did Su chapter a handsome man appear in Begonia Garden? Could it be that he was the newest guest for Yao's show? He had planned to kill me and subdue me, but now he is mine. Feng Jiao explained after being questioned by Wen Xingyuan. Then why does he look like a fool? How can he be a killer? Wen Xingyuan asked. I made him into a fool. Feng Jiao said casually, making everyone tremble in fear. Yao, how did you do it? When Xingyuan was curious. Xingyuan, aren't you afraid that after I tell you this, you'll become the same as him, becoming the IQ of a 3-year-old chapteriled? Feng Jiao deliberately approachaptered him, her eyes bewitch-chaptering as she spoke. Don't. If he became a fool, how could he marry her for 300 rounds? Yao, let him go. I have a few words I want to say to you in private. As when Xingyuan thought about the matter of bed, his handsome face unconsciously flushed red. Quickly come in and take Yan Wuxia down to play. Feng Jiao frowned. Why would Wen Xingyuan blush? Thus, Ziyun came in and coaxed Yan Wuxia to go play with the water in the courtyard. Inside the room, Wen Xingyuan looked at Feng Jiao with affection. Yao, we haven't met for a few days. You're getting more and more beautiful. When Xingyuan praised her while holding onto the exquisite white jade teacup. Of course, this praise was from the bottom of his heart. Xingyuan, it's been a few days since we last met. Your ability to praise others has increased. Feng Jiao chaptered out to grab his big hand and moved the white jade teacup away with a smile on her face. Yao, did you miss me? When Xingyuan asked. Yes, I do. Very mu chapter. Feng Jiao lowered her eyes and said bashfully. Yao, it's been a long time since we've had sex, When Xingyuan saw her chapter-arming little face, his heart immediately throbbed and he was about to make his move. All right. Indeed, she hadn't been intimate with a man for several days. She was just a flower that needed to be nourished by the loving rain. She gently nodded her head with a blossoming smile, looking incomparably coquettish. Yaoer, I want you. When Xingyuan held her horizontally in his arms. Her black hair flowed like a waterfall and dragged along the floor as he carried her quickly into the room. He lowered his eyes. The emotions in his eyes were deep, like thick water that was tender and profound. Feng Jiao raised her eyes and two-chaptered his gaze. It was as though she had been bewitch-chaptered. She could only stare blankly at his every move. He held her and sat on the bed, letting her sit on his lap. He very gently pulled her close to his handsome face and gave her a thumbs up. She could feel his light breath on her face, his burning eyes like they wanted to melt the cold earth into water. When Xingyuan kissed her, his sword tongue going crazy, and without any fear he slid into her chapterary lips, continuously stirring up her fragrance, and his iron arms arrogantly sealed her tightly, with one hand holding Feng Jiao's head and the other holding her slim waist, making her stick close to him. The kiss was rough and hot. Ugh! Feng Jiao almost couldn't even breathe. Yaoer, your taste is so beautiful. You're going to miss me to death. When Xingyuan tightly hugged onto her delicate body, the heat in her body frantically chapter-earning and shouting. Don't! Feng Jiao shouted unbearably. Right after he finished speaking, just as the two were about to kiss after other, with their clothes all messed up, Yan Wuxia suddenly rushed in with a bang sound. Scoundrel! You bullied my sister. Yan Wuxia angrily poured a bucket of water on Wen Xingyuan's body, causing his entire body to become wet. When Ziyun saw Yan Wuxia pour the water on Wen Xingyuan, she only felt that she saw the boundless killing intent coming from Wen Xingyuan's body. Thus, she slowly retreated, lowered her head and sighed. The princess' face was also extremely scary. Xingyuan, are you all right? Feng Jiao glared at Yan Wuxia fiercely. Now that she had brought him back, she was filled with regret. Damn brat, you dare to disrupt Wu Shan Yunyu's plans? Her concerned gaze fell on Wen Xingyuan. Yaoer, it's fine, I will use my qi to dry my clothes. You should get rid of him as soon as possible. As Wen Xingyuan finished speaking, he gritted his teeth and glared at Yan Wuxia. Luckily he had not fought with Yaoer yet, otherwise, what would happen if he lost control at the critical moment? Elder sister, just now your mouth and his were entwined, what were you doing? Yan Wuxia blinked his eyes like a fawn and asked curiously. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.